Chapter 1, Starting as a Friend. I'll be damned. Who's that? Holding such a big bouquet of roses on Valentine's Day. That's a lot of money. Isn't that Huang Miao? Didn't they say he likes boys? Why is he suddenly confessing with flowers? In front of the library of the University of Suzhou City, a group of students who had just finished their studies curiously watched what was happening in front of them. After all, on Valentine's Day, those who were still alone at this hour were basically single dogs. Although sweet love had nothing to do with them, the fun on campus was still something to take a look at. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Huang Miao awkwardly wiped the beads of sweat on his forehead, changed the position of the large bouquet of roses in his arms to hold them, shook off his sore left hand, and anxiously looked towards the library exit not far away. Is old Four's information reliable or not? How come we haven't seen anyone after waiting for so long? Huang Miao glanced down at the time, and the beads of sweat he had just wiped clean burst out once again. If we continue to stay up like this, my buddy is really going to go karma. Glancing at the crowd surrounding him, Huang Miao couldn't hold back and decided to take the initiative. Isn't it just the size of a 5-story building? I don't believe it. I still can't find a girl. Huang Miao made up his mind and was about to leave when the girl in the floral dress finally appeared. The sky was dark at the moment, but it was not yet time for the streetlights to come on. In this dim environment, the girl seemed to have a halo, instantly catching Huang Miao's eyes. The watching crowd followed Huang Miao's line of sight and saw the protagonist of the next episode, all of them letting out sounds of amazement. It's her that Huang Miao has his eye on, isn't it? That's really something to watch. Ha 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 ha. Chen Feier, an existence that must not be messed with at the University of Suzhou. After all, her old man is the professor of the school. Whoever dares to approach his daughter will end up hanging eggs. This level of price, no one can afford. Come on, these are not the point. There are a few people who can be worthy of a truly great lady like Chen Feier. Family history aside, their temperament is the only one in the entire school. Huang Miao didn't care about the discussions around him, and after seeing the real person who looked similar to the photo, he took several deep breaths in a row to calm down his emotions. There shouldn't be any mistake. She is Chen Feier. Chen Feier, who slowly walked down the stairs, also saw the situation downstairs in the library, and after a curious glance, she stopped paying attention. After all, today, she had more important things to do. The distance between Chen Feier and Huang Miao was getting closer and closer, and just as Chen Feier was about to bypass the crowd and walk towards the outside of the school, Huang Miao stopped her with a single healthy step. Hello, excuse me, are you Chen Feier? Huang Miao's voice was so soft that if it wasn't close enough, Chen Feier wouldn't have been able to hear it. Chen Feier glanced at the unfamiliar boy in front of her suspiciously. The gloomy night color couldn't even block Huang Miao's fair face. It had to be said that the looks were indeed okay, but it wasn't Chen Feier's favorite type. After slightly sizing up Huang Miao, especially after that large bouquet of roses, Chen Feier politely nodded her head and softly asked, "Are you looking for me for something?" The crowd surrounding the perimeter really couldn't hear the conversation between the two and could only see the approximate movements. I didn't see it wrong. Chen Feier actually nodded her head. What's wrong with that? Huang Miao's own face value is okay, plus such a large bouquet of roses. How many girls can refuse? Obviously, all of the onlookers had misunderstood, and Huang Miao's next action would be even more abstract. After getting Chen Feier's affirmative answer, Huang Miao nervously cleared his throat and was about to open his mouth to say something, but suddenly he was awkwardly in the same place, not knowing where to start. After a moment of slight silence, Huang Miao awkwardly scratched his head. Sorry, please wait a little. Chen Feier subconsciously frowned as she looked at the boy in front of her who was behaving strangely, but still maintained the most basic decency. It's fine, but please hurry up. I'm in a hurry. Huang Miao nodded stupidly, then took out his cell phone and clicked on that long-collected video, and after going through it at 4x speed, he finally looked at Chen Feier with a sense of accomplishment. Sorry to keep you waiting. Without waiting for Chen Feier to respond, Huang Miao flung herself onto her knees, kneeling on both knees, with such a big salute. Not to mention the parties involved. Even the lazy people watching the show from the side were startled. What kind of move is this? Why are they all kneeling? Is this a confession? Or a marriage proposal? Why am I so confused? Compared to the doubts of the people around her, Chen Feier's CPU was smoked by Huang Miao, and she directly froze in place. Who is this person? I don't even recognize him. In fact, when she saw the bouquet of roses, Chen Feier had expectations in her mind, but the facts proved that reality was far more abstract than imagination. Right at this awkward moment, a sharp voice came out from the crowd. Big brother, it's single knee. One knee. Upon hearing his basher's reminder, Huang Miao, who was in a state of nervousness, reacted and rubbed his aching knees, changing to a one-knee position. He then looked at the dumbfounded Chen Feier in a serious manner. Miss Chen Feier, please be my friend. With these words, The already dazed Chen Fei was even more at a loss as to how to respond. Holding a large bouquet of roses and kneeling on one knee just to make friends with herself. This person was not a fool. Huang Miao's heart went cold when he saw Chen Fei who was slow to respond. I'll go. Can't this even work? I've watched the hottest video on making friends with the opposite sex. If this doesn't even work, I'll just have to be honest in karma. Just as Huang Miao was in despair, Chen Fei's soft voice entered Huang Miao's ears. Are you saying you want to be ordinary friends with me? Then of course. Huang Miao nodded rightfully, and that innocent expression couldn't help but cause Chen Fei to have deep self-doubt. It was as if everything Huang Miao did was logical and reasonable, and it was herself who was abnormal. Chen Fei glanced at the time and then glanced at Huang Miao. It was getting late. For her own safety, it was better to nod her head and agree to it first, in case this being made any other moves. Her plans for the night would be in vain. After some thought, Chen Fei nodded her head. Okay, we're friends now. I have something urgent to do, so I'll leave first. After receiving Chen Fei's answer, Huang Miao let out a long sigh of relief and pushed the roses in her hand to the side. Then do you still want this? Keep it for yourself. Chapter 2, The Mysterious Notebook. Chen Fei quickly left this place of wrongdoing at the entrance of the Tu embassy. Today's experience was just too magical, but fortunately, her reaction was swift enough that she didn't get entangled too much. Making such a big show just to make friends with me? This is too outrageous. Chen Fei, who had walked to the entrance of the school, casually stopped a cab, reported the destination of her trip, and then quickly left Suchong University. Tonight's experience was nothing more than a small episode. Although it was unexpected, Chen Fei didn't care. However, that action of Chen Fei nodding her head had brought about an impact that had already begun to spread. No way. This dude took down Fei Chen so easily? Don't think blindly. The hell knows what he said to Fei Chen. And you can see that the roses are still there. And the dude didn't leave with Fei Chen. So I guess it didn't go anywhere. The lazy people each had their own opinion and came up with completely different results. But the uncertainty of the news wouldn't hinder the speed at which the information was spreading. A variety of hilarious conclusions would slowly surface tomorrow. But this kind of small matter, Huang Miao didn't care at all. After placing the large handful of roses casually on the ground, Huang Miao anxiously pulled out a compact notebook, checking the text on it. Chen Fei, favorability 1%. Task, increase Chen Fei's favorability to 10% today. Punishment, death. After seeing the breathless data, Huang Miao's hope that had just been sparked instantly hit rock bottom. I'll go. After half a day's work, how come it's getting less and less? How can there be a negative favorability? Huang Miao cried and looked at Li Hao who ran to his side. Lao Si, something bad has happened. Big brother is going to karma. Looking at Huang Miao with a sad face, Li Hao immediately came over and took a look at the notebook in Huang Miao's book, followed by a confused look. Big brother, what are you ghost howling about looking at this blank notebook? Hearing Lao Si's words, Huang Miao was startled in his heart and brought the notebook in his hand to Li Hao. Lao Si, you can't see the words on this. No, big brother, you won't get any hypochondria. What is the matter? And brother said, Sioux City's big hospital buddies are familiar with. There is a disease really have to cure. The old four long persuade Huang Miao. Before hearing Huang Miao want to recognize the moment with Chen Fei, his heart is still very happy. This naive batch of Big Brother finally got the hang of it and wanted to chase after a girl. But now, it seems like Big Brother is having a brainwave. Looking at old four's serious expression, Huang Miao completely collapsed. It's over. Thought this thing was just someone's joke with me. Now it looks like it's really a notebook with magical powers. I really am convinced. Nothing idle to buy this laptop. Why? Huang Miao sadly squatted on the ground, not caring about the strange gazes thrown by the people around him. Hey, rich as Huang Miao, Valentine's Day should be rejected. Or to be rejected. But he suddenly balanced his mind. The second generation is still a licking dog. The surrounding rumors do not reach Huang Miao's ears. Even so, Huang Miao's heart is full of sadness. I'm only 20 years old. I haven't even spent all my money yet, but I'm about to die. Huang Miao cried and despaired, looking at the notebook in his hands, hoping to find a hint of possibility of survival. While fiddling around, Huang Miao suddenly realized that this notebook could actually turn the pages. I'll go. If I hadn't taken one more look, I wouldn't have been able to see the mystery in it. Huang Miao excitedly turned the page and opened a new chapter. A brand new message finally appeared on the blank page. Reward, since the host is hitting on a girl for the first time, he can directly confirm the exact location of the target. After Huang Miao finished reading the passage, a mysterious address appeared before his eyes. Is this even possible? What exactly is the running concept of this thing? If it's used to play games or make money, wouldn't it be invincible? It has to be used to pick up girls. So damn boring. Huang Miao mercilessly spat. As a standard game geek, he could be said to have no interest in girls. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been a strange rumor that he liked boys. although he was resentfully dissatisfied in his heart. Huang Miao had no choice but to input the address into his cell phone and call for an online car. Old 4, I'm going to look for Chen Feier off campus. Remember to talk to the hostel auntie at night and leave a door open for me. After finishing her sentence, Huang Miao didn't give old 4 any time to respond and directly disappeared from his field of vision. Looking at Huang Miao, who had raced all the way, old 4 scratched his head dumbfounded. Nyo ma, big brother is messing around, going out to chase girls on the night of Valentine's Day. If you can catch her, why go back to the dormitory? As the car sped along the quiet Sioux City Avenue, Huang Miao's heart was in turmoil. Until now, he still felt that what happened in front of him was full of fantasy. According to his previous habits, he should still be in his dormitory living games, and as a result, Huang Miao lowered his head and took a closer look at the notebook in his hands. And in fact, when he saw the text on the pages, he doubted it. Was this a prank by some technical geeks? But the punishment on it was just too abstract. Huang Miao didn't have the courage to bet on it. If he lost the bet, it would really be the end of the game. Huang Miao rubbed his face in annoyance, then turned his eyes out the window, the small notebook in his hands looking heavier and heavier. The countless pages contained Huang Miao's future colorful life. After 10 minutes of waiting, the car stopped at a very hidden bar. The driver tilted his head and glanced meaningfully at Huang Miao in the back seat, with a hint of a smile at the corner of his mouth. Sir, have a nice evening. The preoccupied Huang Miao didn't even pay attention to the driver's little expression, and after listlessly saying goodbye, he hurriedly opened the car door and walked towards the small hidden bar. Completely different from those noisy bar entrances, the one in front of him didn't have any luxury cars parked in front of it, nor was there any frantic solicitation of customers. There was only an elegant middle-aged man standing at the entrance, ready to receive the newly arrived customers. Sir, a new face, first time to play? Hearing this, Huang Miao subconsciously nodded and raised his head to meet the man's eyes. The moment his eyes met, Huang Miao felt a very strange atmosphere. Under the man's gaze, it was as if she had been stripped naked. Faced with such an aggressive gaze, Huang Miao's entire body shivered and wanted to turn away immediately. However, thinking of the death countdown on the laptop, Huang Miao could only barely suppress the fear in her heart and walked into the depths of the bar. Chapter 3. Are you okay? Following the strange man, Huang Miao stepped into a deep corridor. This narrow section could only allow 2 people to barely pass through, while one person would be relatively more lenient. As Huang Miao expected, that old man really insisted on walking side by side with himself, even though he had thought of various reasons, all of which were rejected by the man. Thinking of the fading events in the diary, Huang Miao could only give up and honestly followed the man forward. The strange man stuck close to Huang Miao, unbuttoning a button every now and then, and in no time at all, revealing a clean chest. Little brother, you're not taking it off. When we get to the dance floor later, it's going to be hot. The man's seductive little eyes made Huang Miao feel a rush of scalp numbness. Then he pulled the clothes on his body and firmly shook his head. No need. I'm naturally afraid of the cold. No matter how hot the environment is, I won't take off my jacket. Seeing Huang Miao being so insistent, the man didn't try to persuade him any further, only to once again bring the two of them closer together. At this moment, Huang Miao and the man were like a couple in love. Finally, Huang Miao reached the end of the corridor. The deafening sound jolted Huang Miao's somewhat confused mind awake, followed by the frenzied dance of a bunch of flesh. That scene, Huang Miao had never seen before. Seeing the horrified expression on Huang Miao's face, the man didn't explain too much, gently patted Huang Miao's buttocks, and said enchantingly, they are all here to have fun. Why be so formal? Good fun yo. After that, the man left Huang Miao's sight with a twist, leaving him alone to mess up in the powerful dance music. It wasn't until this moment that Huang Miao realized what that driver's meaningful smile represented. WC. This NM is bar. Huang Miao swallowed hard and stiffly scanned the surrounding area, immediately lowering his head after meeting a few fiery eyes. I'm still young don't want a chrysanthemum stump now Reason told Huang Miao to withdraw now. Maybe he could still hold his behind, but the countdown on the laptop was still continuing. Huang Miao had no choice. Chen Feier, a girl, how can she come to a bar? Isn't she recognized as a great lady? When did all the big girls love to come to this kind of place? Huang Miao's small brain was filled with incomprehension, but now was not the time to dwell on these details. Huang Miao forcibly raised her head against those fiery eyes and searched hard for Chen Feier's whereabouts. However, Huang Miao searched around and couldn't find that fair face. Strange. Where was the person? The notebook clearly wrote that she was here. It's hard to believe that even the notebook will lie to me. At this moment, Huang Miao was so expectant to know if this notebook of unknown origin gave wrong information, then there was no need for Huang Miao to fear the punishment labeled on it. Just at the moment when Huang Miao was excitedly circling around the floor, ready to confirm it one last time, at the forefront of the dance floor, a conflict erupted. What are you doing? Why are you touching Fei Fei's ass? A fresh-faced boy pushed the burly man in front of him, expressing his dissatisfaction. Unexpectedly, due to the disparity in strength being too great, the pugilistic man didn't move at all, but instead, the clean-faced boy fell to the ground. Little Hui, are you alright? Chen Fei hurriedly ran to the side of the clean-cut man, Xiao Hui, and only at this moment did Huang Miao see Chen Fei's face. MMP, no wonder Lousy didn't find it. This face is painted like a ghost. Who can see it clearly? Not only that, Chen Fei's dressing style had completely changed at the moment, and all the parts of her body that could be exposed were revealed. To be honest, if it wasn't for the notebook's hints, how could Huang Miao not see that this slightly dusty girl was Chen Fei? Huang Miao spat in dissatisfaction, but his eyes were very honest, looking straight at Chen Fei's chest. Huang Miao was a gaming otaku, and the bodies of female anime characters were still often seen. The Chen Fei in front of him, no matter the size or shape, was no different from an anime wife. Is this, the legendary manga body? Just as Huang Miao was muttering to himself, the form in the field took a sharp turn for the worse. The pugilistic man stared viciously at Xiao Hui in front of him, and pulled Chen Fei, who was on his side, up and forcefully pulled her into his arms. What? All here to have fun? Still can't touch it twice? Since you're so delicate, I'll do it 2 more times. After the big man finished speaking, he roughly extended his hand towards Chen Fei's ass, preparing to make a few more strokes. At this moment, the music on the dance floor was still continuing, and the people on the edge of the depths did not notice the change of events in the center in the slightest, and were still enjoying the smooth sensation that the music and lust brought to them. As for a small part of the onlookers, there is no one who wants to come to the rescue. Originally is to come over to decompression. More things are better than less things. Just care about their own high on it. Little Hui, who fell to the ground, looked at Chen Fei in the big man's arms in despair. He really can't imagine. He wanted to bring his best friend here to have fun, but the result will be bumped into such a thing. Chen Fei struggled as hard as she could in the big man's arms, but there was no possibility of her breaking free compared to the big man's strength. The doubly humiliated Chen Fei closed her eyes in despair, her heart filled with regret. Perhaps father's discipline was correct. Outside, it's really dangerous. Just as Chen Fei was preparing to endure in silence, the big man's hand was slow to fall. At the critical moment, the protagonist shone. Huang Miao laboriously pulled on the big man's arm. The small arms and legs that hadn't undergone exercise for a long time appeared thin at the moment. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and run out. Huang Miao roughly shouted. Will be frozen in place. Chen Fei shouted to wake up. Reacted Chen Fei and Huang Miao force exhaustion before a second. Get rid of the big man's control. Along with Chen Fei's escape, Huang Miao then let go of her hand and ran to Chen Fei's body, protecting this troublemaker behind her. The stunned Chen Fei gasped for air, and it was only then that she realized that the one protecting her was the bean Huang Miao, who had just taken roses and wanted to be ordinary friends with her. It's you? Huang Miao was not in the mood to take care of the screaming Chen Fei. If it wasn't for the laptop's hard request, he would have turned around and run away, heroically saving a beauty in a bar. Isn't it just idly nothing? Thinking of this, Huang Miao immediately took out the notebook from his pocket, and after seeing the change in the values above, he instantly changed his expression, turning his head softly to look at Chen Fei. Friend, are you alright? Chapter 4, Goodbye. The rapid change in Huang Miao's expression and the drastic distinction between before and after made Chen Fei unable to accept it for a moment, and she could only nod dully and stutter. I'm fine. Upon hearing such an answer from Chen Fei, Huang Miao immediately flipped open his notebook, and then his face drooped. What is this situation? Didn't Chen Fei say she was fine? Why is this favorability still not moving? Isn't it the case that after a hero saves a girl in a TV series, he gives his body to her? Isn't that the norm? Why is it not working for me? Huang Miao looked unhappy. The clock hand was already pointing to 10 o'clock in the evening, leaving him little time. Even if his heart was filled with disbelief, for the sake of his own life, Huang Miao still had to grit his teeth and tough it out. Chen Fei, are you really alright? Hearing Huang Miao's inexplicable statement, Chen Fei did not know how to answer. Looking at the somewhat puzzled Chen Fei, Huang Miao didn't bother to rub it in. There's no need to cover up. I know there's something wrong with you. Tell me. I'll help you deal with it. Huang Miao's speech confused Chen Fei. In the face of this strange boy who had just rescued her, she didn't know what face to use. Just as there was an impasse between Huang Miao and Chen Fei, the pugnacious man couldn't stand to watch. Bro, flirting with the girl I'm looking at? Treating me like air. The big man laughed as he walked up to Huang Miao and viciously swung down his fist. Facing the sudden attack, Huang Miao didn't have any time to react, and was directly hit in the abdomen. A sharp pain came. Huang Miao's small body, which hadn't undergone much exercise, fell straight to the ground without any extra movement. Seeing Huang Miao in a stiff state, the people around him were startled. Chen Fei dumbfoundedly pointing at Chen Yuan on the ground, stammering and unable to say a word. Xiao Hui, who had managed to recover at his side, covered his eyes in shock and shivered. Out of life. This voice of Xiao Hui caused the originally noisy ballroom to suddenly quiet down, and everyone looked in Xiao Hui's direction. After seeing the motionless Huang Miao on the ground, panic and screams rose, the dimly lit dance floor became chaotic, and the crowd scrambled to escape the murder scene. The originator of all this, the big man, at the moment was also very frightened. This is a human life. This is a human life. If he really messes up, his life will be over. Impossible. I didn't even use much force just now. How did he become like this? The pugilist chanted as he quickly left the dance floor. Regardless of what the real situation actually was, running wouldn't be wrong after all. Looking at the empty dance floor, Xiao Hui came over to Chen Fei's side and softly persuaded. Fei, let's go too. There's no end to this kind of thing if you get caught in it. It's better to do more than less. Hearing Xiao Hui's words, Chen Fei raised her head incredulously. Huang Miao was beaten to this state because of me. How could I possibly let him alone here? Chen Fei's tone was incomparably resolute, and Xiao Hui did not continue to persuade him when he saw this. Thinking that he and Chen Fei were only nodding acquaintances, there was no need to get involved in these disputes for her. Alright, since you're willing, don't blame me for not persuading you. You take care. I'll slip away first. Without any hesitation, Xiao Hui fled the bar straight away. At this moment, in the empty dance floor, only no help left Chen Fei and Huang Miao, who fell on the ground. Until this moment, Chen Fei realized her mistake. So the outside world, it's really dangerous. The dogma and rules that I loathed before were precisely the tools that kept me safe. Listening to Chen Fei's self-talk, Huang Miao was anxious in his heart. Huang Miao, who was playing dead on the ground at the moment, practically felt the coldness of the dance floor, and 10,000 grass mud horses were galloping in his heart. I am convinced. I become this ghost. How did Chen Fei's favorability not change at all? No matter how fragile Huang Miao was, he wasn't paper mache. It was impossible to be killed by the big man's punch. This was all a ploy by Huang Miao. He didn't want to get into a head-on conflict with the rough big man, so he simply laid down on the ground and played dead in order to wait for a fight. Only Huang Miao really didn't expect that even after he had already karma'd himself, Chen Fei's favorability was still stabilized at 0, which was really outrageous. However, Huang Miao's trip to play dead this time wasn't nothing. At least he learned that if he wanted to see the contents of the notebook, he didn't need to look through the notebook all the time. As long as he closed his eyes and meditated on the notebook, the damn panel data would appear in front of Huang Miao's eyes. MMP, such an advanced thing, having to mess with my body, pure waste. Huang Miao cursed in his heart, while at the same time becoming more convinced of the authenticity of the contents on the notebook. Once he didn't complete the task above, there was a real possibility that his precious life would be gone. What bad luck! Huang Miao twisted his head, looked at the unmoving favor bar, stopped pretending to be unconscious, and climbed up from the ground in displeasure. The suddenly recovered Huang Miao startled Chen Fei for a moment. After seeing Huang Miao twisting his arms, she realized that Huang Miao was not dead. Are you alright? Hearing Chen Fei's timid words, Huang Miao didn't give her any good looks. You see that I'm not okay. What a nuisance. Huang Miao's tone was rather unpleasant, and such words made Chen Fei think of her stern father. Perhaps because of what had just happened, the originally very hateful accent actually made Chen Fei feel safe at this moment. Sorry, I've caused you trouble. Chen Fei bit her lip and apologized in a low voice. Huang Miao gave a counterglance at this troublemaker without a good mood. Without this troublesome woman, he would have started shooting guns in the dormitory long ago. Forget it, it's all trivial. No need to take it to heart. After saying this, Huang Miao wanted to leave this dimly lit environment, not realizing that such an unintentional move had resulted in an unexpected effect. Congratulations to the host. The target's favorability has reached 10%. Mission completed. Receive a reward quality gift pack of your choice. Radar scanning opportunity X 10-inch. Hearing this, Huang Miao completely relaxed. Originally, he was still thinking about how to increase Chen Fei's favorability in the last 2 hours, but he didn't expect to get it without any effort, and completed the mission in a haphazard way. Hey, women are really strange creatures. Huang Miao shook his head and left the bar straight away, merely dumping a sentence on Chen Fei. You can go home yourself. Bye. Chapter 5 down. In the shadowy corner, the pugilist who had just fled the scene in panic looked at Huang Miao in front of him in horror, and asked tremblingly, Are you a human or a ghost? Huang Miao fanned himself in boredom and glanced contemptuously at the big man who kept retreating. Don't retreat. That side is a dead end. No matter how much more you run, you won't be able to get away. Hearing Huang Miao's clear voice, the big man rubbed his eyes, confirming that the boy in front of him was a big living person. MMP, you little Yakuza even pretended to be dead at the bar and coaxed me. let's see if I don't teach you a good lesson. Let's show you what a sandbagged fist is. After confirming that it was a normal human, the big man's tone toughened up quite a bit. With that small body of Huang Miao's, the big man didn't even know who gave him the courage to take the initiative to chase him over. Brat, there aren't any people here. I'm going to accidentally finish you off, but then no one will know about it. The big man laughed as he walked towards Huang Miao, a far cry from his previous fearful appearance. Looking at the soft and fearful big man, Huang Miao's expression didn't change in the slightest and just calmly asked, "Which hand did you just embrace Chen Feier with?" "Oh, that chick turned out to be called Chen Feier. Good name. Sounds Thai. When I you down, I'll go back to that girl to chat about life and ideals." The big man smiled lewdly, his tiny eyes filled with desire. By the light of the moon, Huang Miao's rather pretty face appeared in front of the big man. Due to the bar's lighting being very dim before, the big man didn't see Huang Miao's face clearly, and now that he looked at it so much, it seemed like there was so much to it. Since the big man was playing in a bar, he was naturally interested in clean-cut guys, and there was no reason to let go of the fresh meat that was delivered to the door in front of him. Anyway, there is still time left. Let the big man have fun with you. Looking at the big man who was getting closer and closer, Huang Miao had no fear on his face and just repeated it once again. "I'm asking you, the hand that just hugged Chen Feier, which one is it?" The big man grinned and replied, "What? You can't even protect yourself, but you still want to avenge that little lover? So righteous? I'm going to be moved to tears." After finishing his speech, the big man raised his right hand and flung it in front of Huang Miao. "This is the hand. How about it? What can you do to me?" Huang Miao's expression didn't change in the slightest, followed by another question bursting out. "Then the arm you just hit me with, which one is it again?" The big man's smirk intensified as he raised his other hand and shook it provocatively. "That would be this arm. What? Is it hard to believe that you still want revenge?" As soon as the big man's words fell, Huang Miao quickly struck out, and in a flash of lightning, the big man's left hand was twisted into a twist. "You, ow 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 ow." The big man was stunned for a few seconds, and then let out a pig-like scream. The one that was twisted was the left fist that hit Huang Miao's abdomen. The big man couldn't figure out how this skinny boy, after only less than half an hour, was able to explode with such explosive power. The intense pain caused the big man to struggle on the ground, as if he was a maggot with no support. Huang Miao coldly looked at the big man on the ground and did not continue his violence. "Today's revenge. I'll avenge it right away. This is my style. If you're not convinced, you're always welcome to come to me." After finishing his sentence, Huang Miao left the gloomy street with a big stride. Congratulations to the host. Unlocking beginner's interceptor fist do. Stamina value has risen. Number of radar searches 10 to 9 inch. The annoying laptop once again made a sound, reporting on Huang Miao's physical state at the moment. Feeling the surging power surging within his body, Huang Miao couldn't be happy. "Hey, the more powerful this notebook's ability is, the more scared I am. This ing means that the death penalty labeled on the notebook is real. Just in case dude doesn't complete his mission one day, then it'll have to go straight to karma." Huang Miao let out a long sigh. Although it was great when he just beat someone up, but in retrospect, it really wasn't worth it. We can only take one step at a time. Huang Miao waved his hand at the roadside and stopped a cab before running towards the school. During the bumpy ride, Huang Miao silently closed his eyes and looked at the contents of the notebook that appeared in front of him. After this one night's tossing and turning, Chen Feier's high sensibility soared to 11%, but the periphery of the value showed a red circle. What does this mean? Huang Miao's question was answered in the first instance. The color next to the value shows the current target's favorability tendency. Red represents a risk of decline. Green represents an upward trend. With such simple logic, Huang Miao instantly understood. Well, it's the opposite of the stock market, right? There shouldn't be any quests related to Chen Feier next. Huang Miao sent out a question with great anticipation, but unfortunately, what awaited him was a despairing answer. No, tomorrow's mission is still related to Chen Feier. Huang Miao reluctantly called out, and in response to Huang Miao's reaction, the system also thoughtfully presented the quests that would only be refreshed tomorrow, in advance, in front of Huang Miao's eyes. Tomorrow's mission, raise Chen Feier's favorability to 30%. Punishment, death. Reward, primary optional skill box. The first thing Huang Miao's eyes saw was that extremely eye-catching word, death again. Can you be a bit original? Is it fun to have this punishment every day? Huang Miao's incompetent rage didn't make any sense. The laptop directly closed the window, leaving Huang Miao to swear, "Cow num. I've really had bloody bad luck this time." Huang Miao lowered his head in frustration, opened his eyes, and pulled his cell phone out of his pocket, rummaging through the friends he had just added, and Chen Feier was listed. "Hey, what can be done? It's already like this. We can only find a way to complete the mission." Huang Miao didn't understand what the concept of 30% favorability was roughly,
so he could only think of ways to get close to Chen Feier in advance to reduce the difficulty of tomorrow's mission.
Opening the dialogue box with Chen Feier, Huang Miao glared at his phone for half a day. Never having interacted with a girl before, he really didn't know how to start a conversation. After grinding for a while, Huang Miao barely managed to cobble together a sentence. Have you arrived at the dormitory yet? Chen Feier, who had just slipped back from under the eyes of her hostile aunt, frowned slightly when she saw the message sent by Huang Miao. Such words, such questions, were practically identical to her father. The rebellious spirit in the heart of Chen Feier, who was out of danger, once again took over, and she beamed in dissatisfaction. Who am I to report to you? Having said that, Chen Feier was still grateful for Huang Miao's help and eventually returned to him. Congratulations, host. Chen Feier's favorability has fallen by 9%. Chapter 6, The Great Adventure. Ha, what does that mean? It doesn't make sense.
I took the initiative to send a message to greet her.
This girl not only doesn't appreciate it, but she's also damn dissatisfied. Girls are really abstract. Huang Miao shook his head speechlessly. It looked like taking the initiative to contact Chen Feier would not only not increase favor, it would also bring negative effects. Alright, anyway, there's no good plan for the time being. Everything will wait for tomorrow. Facing the cold data, Huang Miao had no choice but to honestly stay in his seat and wait for his destination to arrive. The night of Valentine's Day was calm and uneventful. There was nothing to dwell on. The only point of interest was also Li Hao hugging the hostess aunt's leg, crying and begging her to leave the door open so that Huang Miao could have a seat through the night. Big brother, you have to return the favor. For you, I've dedicated the most awesome acting skills in 20 years. Looking at Li Hao, whose tears had not yet dried, Huang Miao nodded. No problem. Tomorrow buddy will take you to a nightclub to have some fun. Guaranteed to give you a clear arrangement. Huang Miao swore, but in his heart, he kept worrying about Chen Feier's favorability. MMP. I still don't know if I can survive tomorrow. It's really miserable. The night was silent, and the sunrise got up early to go to work. Huang Miao climbed out of bed early, staring blankly at the big sun outside the window, falling into silence. WC. Who is pulling the curtains in the morning? Li Hao, who had his eyes shaken by the sun, cursed and poked his head out of the bed curtains, only to find that Huang Miao was the only one left in the entire dormitory. Big brother, when did you change your nature? Getting up so early? Hearing Li Hao's question, Huang Miao sighed, full of sorrow and said, I want to take one more look at the bright sun. Maybe, this is the last glance. Listening to Huang Miao's inexplicable statement, Li Hao was confused. What's wrong, big brother? Did Chen Feier reject you yesterday? Although it's hard to be rejected, there's no need to be so depressed. If you really can't, I'll accept a few good jobs for you at night to help you soothe your little psychological trauma. Listening to Li Hao's borderline comforting, Huang Miao didn't have the spirit to reply, silently stood up, simply washed up, and then walked out of the dormitory. Big brother, what are you going for? Didn't we agree to eat chicken together before? It's rare to get up early today. Do you want to take a morning walk? Looking at Li Hao, who was eager to play, Huang Miao couldn't raise a single spirit. No, you play by yourself. I still have things to do. After saying that, Huang Miao disappeared from Li Hao's sight. Looking at such an abnormal Huang Miao, Li Hao, who was a diehard friend, was filled with worry in his heart. Big brother wouldn't just think twice and jump into the river to martyr himself because of a girl's rejection. Li Hao originally didn't really believe in the logic of this kind of story development. However, he thought that Huang Miao was usually a gaming geek and had never even touched a girl's hand. In case his brain shafted, he might do something abstract. Thinking of this, Li Hao's remaining sleepiness disappeared without a trace. Big brother is my best friend in school. Nothing must happen to him. With this thought, Li Hao got dressed as fast as he could and followed along Huang Miao's trail. The plan to save Huang Miao started from this moment. How could Huang Miao, who was bent on finding Chen Feier, have the heart to think about anything else? As soon as he was out of the dormitory, he turned on the radar function of his mysterious laptop to locate Chen Feier's position. Professor's office? It's less than 7 o'clock in the morning. What is she doing there? It's really inexplicable. Huang Miao shook his head in puzzlement, and just as he was about to advance towards the office building, the class president, who had almost no contact with him, suddenly called him. Hello, is this Huang Miao? The professor from the School of Economics suddenly wants to see you and is now looking for you all over the school. You should hurry to 403 in the third office building to find him now. The class president's tone was anxious and sounded very urgent. Although Huang Miao was dumbfounded, he still gave a and agreed. It's really a leaky house. Before, when I was playing games every day, nothing happened. Now that I've received a critical mission, the kind that will kill me if I don't do it, all the farts that normally don't even exist have come. I'm really speechless. Huang Miao sighed long and hard, double-checking the specific address given to him by the class president. A shocking discovery appeared in front of his eyes. I'm going. Isn't this location where Chen Feier is? What's all this and what's all this? Huang Miao was greatly shocked, but his feet didn't pause in their movements as he walked straight towards the third office building. Now it seemed that this kind of coincidence wasn't necessarily a bad thing. Inside the office, Chen Yun looked at the several photos in front of him with a serious face, and what was displayed on them was exactly the image of Huang Miao holding roses and making a fool of herself to Chen Feier last night. Who is this boy? Why is he holding roses and kneeling on one knee in front of you? Last night when you returned to the dormitory so late, were you having another rendezvous with him? Chen Yun's speech was fast, and it was not hard to see the anxiety and anger in his heart at this moment. Faced with her father who was about to explode, Chen Feier was at a loss for words. She was fine with Huang Miao's abstract behavior last night, but it was just a bit hard to explain. After all, as a normal person, it was hard to believe that Huang Miao had done all this simply because he wanted to be friends with himself, and the things that followed were even more important to not talk to Chen Yun about. If he were to let him until the matter of himself going to a bar, Chen Yun must not break his own legs. Just as Chen Feier was racking her brain, thinking about how to make up a lie, Huang Miao shone. Professor, you called for me? Ha, why are you here? Huang Miao's reaction was extremely realistic and natural, looking just like the real thing. In fact, it was also true that Huang Miao had no idea who Chen Feier was before she received the mission, and naturally, she wouldn't have understood the rumors about her. Looking at the confused Huang Miao, Chen Yun did not relax in the slightest and threw the photo in front of Huang Miao, asking sternly, was it you who messed with these last night? Huang Miao glanced at the blurry photo, scratched his head in embarrassment, and nodded unapologetically. Ha, sorry, it was indeed me. Huang Miao's such a straightforward reply caused Chen Yun to be somewhat taken by surprise. Looking at Chen Yun's stunned expression, Huang Miao did not give him any time to react as a set of silky smooth combos prepared in advance were then played. It was all a misunderstanding. I lost a bet with a friend earlier, and I chose Dare, but it turned out that he asked me to find a girl to send roses to on Valentine's Day. The target was completely random. I just found a random girl to deliver it, and I didn't realize it was your daughter. Chapter 7, Not Enough. Huang Miao's sincere little expression made this extremely lame reason surprisingly have a hint of reasonableness. Chen Yun sized up Huang Miao in front of him. This boy looked clean and dry, not like the kind of bad boy. Coupled with the fact that Chen Feier's eyes were mostly unfamiliar when she looked at Huang Miao, Chen Yun acquiesced to the reason given by Huang Miao in his heart. Young people should not focus on such messy things. You need to learn more while you're young. That's the right way. Chen Yun taught Huang Miao in a heartfelt manner, and the skepticism and anger in his eyes diminished by a few points. Alright, it's still early. Let's go have breakfast first. The two embassy is packed on weekends. Remember to go ahead and take a seat. After finishing his education, Chen Yun issued an eviction order to Huang Miao. Since Huang Miao hadn't done anything to cross the line, and Chen Feier and Huang Miao really weren't familiar with each other, there was no reason for Chen Yun to continue to make things difficult for Huang Miao. After receiving Chen Yun's permission, Huang Miao let out a long breath. It seemed like he had not done his homework in advance in vain, helping Chen Feier block such a big disaster. This girl's favorability should be rubbing up. Huang Miao joyfully opened the laptop's interface and looked at Chen Feier's favorability. I don't know, but I'm shocked. After Huang Miao's strenuous efforts, Chen Feier's favorability was maintained at 9%. Doesn't this mean that my buddy worked all morning for nothing? Huang Miao took a deep breath, forcibly suppressing the anger in his chest. If it wasn't for Chen Yun's presence, if it wasn't for the task of having a notebook, if not for Chen Yun's presence, if not for the task of the notebook, Huang Miao would have turned around and left, not bothering with this inexplicable woman. Now, for the sake of their own lives, and then how excessive state, Huang Miao have to bite the bullet. Huang Miao, who hadn't reached his goal, could only stand in place, observing the next situation. Looking at Huang Miao who was reluctant to leave for a long time, Chen Yun frowned. There's nothing more for you to do here. Hurry up and go eat breakfast. Huang Miao nodded on the surface, but in actuality, he was moving towards the door at tortoise speed. Slowly, watching Huang Miao act so abnormally, the skepticism that had originally been put down in Chen Yun's heart rose once again. Can it be that this brat is hiding something from me? In order to verify the suspicion in his heart, Chen Yun simply continued to ask the next crucial question in front of Huang Miao. Feier, what exactly did you do last night? Why did you return to the dormitory so late? Faced with such a tricky question, Chen Feier completely panicked. She really didn't know how to answer this question. Chen Yun's eyes grew sharper and sharper. A wave of criticism was about to arrive. Right at this critical moment, Huang Miao stepped forward. Chen Feier, didn't you purposely go to the shopping mall in the city center last night to buy something? Is it hard to believe that I was wrong? After Huang Miao finished speaking, he frantically squeezed his eyes at Chen Feier, signaling her to follow his words and make up this story. Receiving Huang Miao's hint, Chen Feier immediately understood and stuttered on. It will be your birthday in a few days. I thought of preparing a surprise for you in advance. So I went to the mall to do some research. The variety of goods there is just too much. I got carried away and accidentally lost track of time. I'm really sorry, Dad. Chen Fei's performance went from deliberate to smooth in less than a minute.
Huang Miao on the side was dumbfounded as he watched,
secretly pondering in his heart. This woman is too scary, acting like something. I'll have to go around her when the laptop's mission is complete. Maybe she'll trick me one day. Chen Fei's performance was spot on, completely fooling Chen Yun's eyes. However, there was still a doubt in the professor's mind that had not been solved. Huang Miao, you said that you happened to see Chen Fei in front of the mall in the city center last night? Is there really such a coincidence in this world? Between the two of you, is there really no relationship at all? Facing Chen Yun's constantly roaming eyes, Huang Miao directly pulled out the decisive physical evidence from his pocket. Professor, this is the membership card for the largest internet cafe within the downtown mall. Every weekend, I would go with my roommates to play somewhere. After saying this, Huang Miao smiled to himself, having a slightly sad tone and said, do you think that an internet-addicted teenager will get your daughter's heart? Huang Miao had blown himself up to this point, so Chen Yun could not say anything else. Although the entire incident still seemed suspicious, Chen Yun decided not to pursue it any further. Alright, Fei, you and Huang Miao both go back. It's my problem today, wasting your precious time. I'm really sorry for that. Huang Miao, please also sympathize with a father's painstaking efforts. Looking at the sincere Chen Yun, Huang Miao nodded busily before taking the lead and exiting the office. As the saying goes, you have to put on a show, and at this final moment, if one were to follow Chen Yun's advice and leave with Chen Fei, one would undoubtedly be pulling from the previous story. The best solution was to maintain a distance from Chen Fei in front of Chen Yun at all times. As expected, after Huang Miao left the office, Chen Yun still pulled Chen Fei into a long conversation. This old codger, he can be too obsessive about his daughter. Through the window, looking at Chen Yun's lips that kept opening and closing, Huang Miao mercilessly spat. Over the years, Huang Miao had seen spoiling children, but she had never seen a parent who was still interfering in their child's private life even after reaching university. This isn't even coddling anymore. It's more of a controlling behavior. Huang Miao silently analyzed the situation, and a trace of sympathy for Chen Fei unexpectedly rose in her heart. However, such an emotion didn't last long as Huang Miao slapped his head fiercely. What am I sympathizing with her for? If it wasn't for this damn notebook, I wouldn't even have crossed paths with this annoying girl. Now I'm only seeking to be able to increase my favorability a little bit through this wave of operation. To be reasonable, dude's consecutive heroic rescues should be worthy of a favorability increase. As expected, that machine female voice that gave Huang Miao a headache finally brought a good news. Congratulations to the host. The target girl Chen Fei's favorability has increased to 20%. Only 10% is left from the final target. Hearing such a broadcast, Huang Miao's heart was mixed, not knowing how to express the emotions in his heart. What to say? It went up, but not enough. If it didn't continue to grow by the end of the night, Huang Miao still had to karma. I'm convinced. It turns out that chasing girls is so laborious. Huang Miao patted his head helplessly. Even though his heart was reluctant, he still had to continue to think of a solution. Chapter 8 Invitations. Big brother, what are you doing here? Just as Huang Miao was squatting in the corner of the office building, thinking about how to improve Chen Fei's favorability, diehard friend Li Hao ran a long way to Huang Miao's side, asking with concern, hey, it's a long story. Anyway, it's just very abstract. Huang Miao let out a long sigh, rubbed his somewhat numb thighs, and shivered as he stood up. Observing the situation in the office not far away, looking at how obsessed Huang Miao was, Li Hao, who was a veteran of the nightclub, felt that it was time to step forward. Big brother, the sky is the limit, so why fall in love with a single flower? It's just Fei Chen. Don't get caught up in it. I'll take you out tonight to see the world. Whether it's a nurse, a doctor, or a college flower, as long as you want, I'll help you get it. Huang Miao glanced at Li Hao in front of him and spat nonchalantly. Why are you talking to me? I don't have those fetishes. Is that thing as fun as chicken? If I had that kind of time, I would have started killing in P City long ago. Hearing Huang Miao's words, Li Hao was confused. Then why are you chasing after Chen Fei? Since you don't care, why do you need to follow behind Fei Chen's ass? Brother, what do you have to hide from me? We're all men. We're all brothers. I know you. Huang Miao touched his head helplessly, not knowing how to explain. Last night, he had already told Li Hao about the notebook, but it seems that the old man did not believe in it very much. Since this was the case, Huang Miao didn't want to waste any more time on this. Hey, I won't talk to you. I can't explain it anyway. Don't worry, this is something that my buddy can solve by himself. And you're worried about my time. You might as well go practice your marksmanship more. It's really hard to fight with an auto every time you double row. Okay, dude cares about you so much. You treat me like this, I'll just cry to death. Li Hao stood up in anger, shaking his head and preparing to leave. As a brother, you can say anything bad about me. You just can't say that my gun is soft. This is a matter of a man's dignity. Li Hao tigerishly walked out a few steps, but finally reluctantly turned his head and glanced at Huang Miao with a face full of grudges. Even though you're treating me like this, I'm still going to invite you to get high at the bar tonight. This is how I feel about you. Hearing such meaty words from Li Hao, Huang Miao got goosebumps and hugged herself with her hands in fear. Don't mess around. Although I don't want to fall in love, I don't like men either. Don't I know you yet? It's just that the wine you saved last time is about to expire. What's the point of making it so mushy? Seeing that Huang Miao immediately caught the point, Li Hao also stopped pretending, giggled twice, threw down a sentence to see you tonight and slipped away. Anyway, Li Hao has already confirmed Huang Miao's life safety. This to this dead friend did not think hard. To love how to wave it. Saw Li Hao leave, Huang Miao returned to the duck squatting state, helplessly looking at the goodwill of the line does not move. Distressed, MMP, it's not moving at all. Right at the moment when Huang Miao was spitting, Chen Feier beamed her small mouth and walked out of the office building with a face full of displeasure. Obviously, Chen Yun had violently carried out another wave of love education. Huang Miao happened to be squatting on Chen Feier's route at the moment, and when their lines of sight met, Chen Feier's brows furrowed stealthily. In Chen Feier's mind, this boy Huang Miao was really strange. Before yesterday's double kneeling and sending roses, Chen Feier hadn't heard of this boy at all. Moreover, after the thrilling bar clash, Huang Miao did not try anything further on himself. This man is really strange. What exactly is his purpose in approaching me? Neither showing his feelings further, nor any other hints, and also helped me in many details. This, Huang Miao's confusing behavior left Chen Feier, who had almost zero relationship experience, completely confused. But to be honest, Huang Miao didn't even understand what he was doing. He'd always had only one goal in mind. That was to raise Chen Feier's favorability to 30%. No matter what means he used, he had to accomplish this task. For the sake of this purpose, Huang Miao could only effortlessly stand up and clumsily initiate a conversation. Are you alright? Ha? The unfolding of such an abstract topic shocked Chen Feier's jaw off. But after all, Huang Miao had just helped himself, so he had to respond as a matter of course. Fortunately, it's all old topics. I can memorize them with my eyes closed. Thank you for helping me out just now. Chen Feier adorably beamed, and after these 2 days of contact, Huang Miao got the first time to realize the cuteness of this contrasting female, but the surface harmony did not represent the actual favorability data. In front of Huang Miao's eyes, Chen Feier's favorability data went red again. No, isn't this a good chat? How the hell did it go red again? What the hell is going on in this woman's head? Huang Miao scratched his head in annoyance, frantically turning on his not-so-smart little brain. Time was tight. The task was heavy. Huang Miao only wanted to reach the task as soon as possible. Just like this, the two of them fell into an extremely awkward atmosphere. Looking at Huang Miao, who didn't speak for a long time, Chen Feier sighed helplessly. This person is really strange, although I am very grateful for his help last night. However, it would be better to minimize contact in the future. Just as Chen Feier was about to find a random reason to leave, Huang Miao's bad idea finally came into place. Tonight, do you want to go to a real bar to have some fun? Don't worry, my friend is hosting, and with our protection, you definitely won't experience what happened last night again. Huang Miao's invitation was very abrupt, and the whole Chen Feier did not react for half a day. After a few seconds of silence, Chen Feier grabbed her skirt in urgency. It's not too good. After all, we've only known each other for 2 days. Seeing your friend's bureau directly, it's really a bit strange. Chen Feier's tone was very hesitant, and it looked like she was eager to accept Huang Miao's offer. After all, having been confined to a small space by Chen Yun, she had always yearned for scenery she had never seen before, even if it would be accompanied by unpredictable dangers. Huang Miao saw at a glance where Chen Feier was hesitating, and in order to make Chen Feier's favor as high as possible, Huang Miao made a rare attempt to retain her. It doesn't matter. If you feel embarrassed, you can give him your share of consumption, It's only $200 on average. Okay, thanks for the invite. I'll wait for you guys there in the evening. Looking at the so transformed Chen Feier, Huang Miao froze for a moment, then very happily pointed to the south gate not far away. Meet there at night. Chapter 9, True Thoughts. The reason for Huang Miao's delight was simple. The top of Chen Feier's head was finally green. There's something up. Dude looks like he can make it through another day. After agreeing on a location with Chen Feier, Huang Miao quickly ran back to the dormitory without bothering Chen Feier again. Looking at Huang Miao's departing back, Chen Feier poked her head out curiously. This man, she really couldn't understand. Doesn't matter, not even laying a hand on me in such a convenient situation last night.
At least it proves that Huang Miao has no ill intentions towards me, since he can help me fulfill the wish I've always had.
Why not? Chen Feier laughed and laughed at herself,
then threw these thoughts out of her head and quickly went to deal with today's lessons.
Naive Chen Feier didn't realize that the most dangerous emotion for a boy was curiosity. Inside the dormitory, Li Hao was fully concentrating on the P-City roll point.
Although the shooting skill is not good, but the spray can infinitely erase this part of the gap against the gun.
Just at the moment when Li Hao was crouching in the classic old 6 position, preparing to shade a few people, his back was panned first by Huang Miao. Old 4. Still practicing Just as Huang Miao spoke, a backside just appeared in front of Li Hao's body.
Such a valuable timing was just missed.
I'm going, big brother. You didn't have to come earlier or later, but you have to come now. Hey. Looking at Li Hao's face full of aggression, Huang Miao made a rare apology. My, I can't believe I let you, the old 6, not get 6. Li Hao frowned. How did the words of this apology sound so unappealing? Hey, forget it. Are you done with your little male love affair? You can kill P-City with your buddies. Huang Miao skimmed his mouth and corrected with a serious face. Pay attention to the wording. I'm the one who killed P-Town, so don't cry or make a scene. You, okay, you wait for me. One day I will surpass you. I'll be your Zhao Yun. Looking at the resolute Li Hao, Huang Miao didn't have any change in expression. Just a reminder. You said the same thing last year. Zhao Yun's development takes time. Get it all. Li Hao was still confident, then directly changed the topic and said, how do you mean? Directly dumped that girl? Girl? Which girl? Huang Miao didn't react for a moment and asked casually while turning on the computer. It's not that bad, right? It's come to this. There's no need to lie to your buddy. Of course, the most important thing is, it's okay to lie to your buddies. Don't lie to yourself too. Li Hao persuaded Huang Miao. In the matter of emotion, how sensible people may make stupid. As Huang Miao's best friend, he naturally tried to avoid extreme situations. Only then did Huang Miao realize that Li Hao was putting the matter of Chen Feier with himself. You mean Chen Feier? I'm asking her to go to the bar with me for the night. Don't worry, after today, we won't cross paths. Huang Miao's tone was cloudy and light. The rising favorability on the laptop was Huang Miao's bottom line for being so. Without any surprises, Chen Feier's favorability would reach 30% tonight. Huang Miao would also completely get rid of this headache-inducing love notebook. Probably. Hearing Huang Miao respond so frankly, Li Hao was also relieved. However, out of concern for his good brother, he still spoke one more time. Big brother, frankly speaking, a girl who's always thinking about going to a bar really needs to be wary. Playing around is all well and good. Don't ever get in too deep. Li Hao's tone was serious, completely different from his previous state when he was joking. Huang Miao also appreciated Li Hao's concern, and even though she didn't have any thoughts in this regard herself, she still nodded seriously. No problem. I still have my measure in this regard. In any case, thank you. Ha. See you, big brother. You'll just see me hard later. Li Hao handed Huang Miao a know-it-all look, and then the two gaming geeks started a new round of killing. Happy times always flashed by, and the 3 chickens' performance was good enough. On the way to the south gate, Li Hao complained to Huang Miao in dissatisfaction. It's still light out. What's the point of going to the bar so early? Don't even mention the people who came to play. Even the atmosphere team isn't at work. Might as well kill a few more games. In Li Hao's worldview, nothing was more important than the game. If it wasn't for the fact that the bar's stock of alcohol was about to expire, Li Hao was dead set on fighting Huang Miao until dawn today. Huang Miao on his side was actually thinking the same thing, but there was no way out. If he continued to mess around, his own little life would really be over. It's okay, when we get to the bar, you'll have the reception open all the drinks. You and the 2 brothers will start blowing directly. Drink up and leave. Definitely not wasting a single second of time. Brother, are you sure? That's 4 whole beers. Drink it directly. It's not very likely. And that girl is coming along too. Do you really still want to play games with me? Meeting Li Hao's suspicious eyes, Huang Miao nodded without any hesitation. Of course, chatting with Chen Feier is not as cool as playing games. Okay, you're awesome. Worthy of being you. Li Hao gave an admiring thumbs up. And just at the moment when Huang Miao and Li Hao were chatting, a silhouette flashed by the south gate. The owner of this figure was none other than Chen Feier. Today's Chen Feier still continued the style of dress from last night at the bar, completely abandoning the previous long coat and long pants. The cool amount of clothing, while Chen Feier's body perfectly outlined. In addition, with Chen Feier's face value of pure desire wind, really let people can't move their eyes off. Li Hao glanced at this human beauty from afar and swallowed a mouthful of saliva with difficulty. Big brother, I seem to understand you. Faced with a chick like this, even the cement-sealed heart of me has a feeling of thumping my heart. Huang Miao slanted a glance at the uninteresting Li Hao.
shrugged his shoulders uncaringly.
Is she really pretty? I feel like it's average.
Hearing Huang Miao speak in such a Versailles manner, Li Hao hated his teeth.
Listen, is this human language? Still showing off.
Huang Miao ignored Li Hao, who possessed a small emotion,
and quickly walked over to Chen Feier's side,
casually sizing her up,
and calmly said, "Let's go." Facing such a talkative Huang Miao,
Chen Feier's heart was filled with frustration that her carefully prepared makeup had not been able to exchange even a single line of questioning from this strange man.
"All right, please lead the way."
Seeing Huang Miao so indifferent,
Chen Feier also responded calmly,
but the data interface in front of Huang Miao's eyes had already penetrated Chen Feier's true inner thoughts.
Chapter 10, Contemplative. In the net car heading to the bar, Chen Feier sat quietly on the passenger side, seemingly without any mood swings.
But that small action of stealing a glance at the rearview mirror still betrayed her heart. Chen Feier didn't understand at all why she hadn't received any compliments from Huang Miao for her dressy attendance.
This unreasonable right. On the other hand, Huang Miao, who was sitting in the back row, was as steady as a mountain, and the data on Chen Feier's head was always green, with the actual data having reached 25%. It felt like Huang Miao didn't need any operations, and Chen Feier's favorability was about to reach the standard. Reviewing the experience of these 2 days, Huang Miao vaguely grasped some methods to improve the favorability of girls. Those active,
gentle gestures would not have any noticeable effect.
Instead, the behavior of not caring would allow the girl to rip herself off. What an abstraction. This is completely different from the worldview of the pure love war god.
Huang Miao laughed to himself, squinting at Chen Feier in the seat in front of him without much emotional fluctuation in his heart. If it wasn't for the sudden appearance of the love notebook, he would have never crossed paths with Chen Feier in his life.
His impression of Chen Feier was not good or bad, and when the mission was over, the odds were that they wouldn't contact each other again, right? Hey, don't think about that. I only hope that bull **** laptop will let me off the hook now. Don't give any more weird missions.
Li Hao watched Huang Miao's expression change so abundantly, and began to crazily YY in his heart.
It seems like Big Brother still hasn't died for this girl, but it makes sense when you think about it. After all,
being so beautiful and with such a big contrast, the average man would indeed be unable to stop.
I can only wish Big Brother good luck. Just like that, the three of them arrived at the bar with completely different thoughts. Just as Li Hao said, they came too early.
The bar had just opened and the atmosphere was not yet heated up.
Hey, I told you that you can't do anything about it. Now it's good. You guys stay here for now. I'm going to go outside to eat something. I played a little chicken and didn't eat anything. I'm hungry. Li Hao casually found an excuse to slip out of the bar after taking a drink.
He tried his best to create private space for Huang Miao and Chen Feier.
Looking at Li Hao, who left in a hurry,
Huang Miao shook his head helplessly, opened a bottle of beer and drank it silently.
Chen Feier quietly looked at Huang Miao on her side, an inexplicable sentiment spreading. You know what? I actually don't like places that are too rowdy, and I also don't like wearing such revealing clothes. Hearing this, Huang Miao subconsciously frowned, then said easily, since you don't like it, then don't wear it. Why force yourself to do something you don't like? Chen Feier let out a light smile, looking at the stage that was being set up and falling into memories. Since a long time ago, Dad has restricted my clothing and movements. I understand his intentions, but understanding doesn't mean approval. I don't want to spend my life not being able to see a bar. Because of him, a lifetime of not being able to wear this style of clothing. Chen Feier paused, stabilizing her somewhat trembling voice line. So, every time I do this, my heart feels a sense of pleasure that, as if I had finally broken free from my father's prison. But now it seems, it's just a joke. Last night, thank you for the ride. And today, thank you for accompanying me to a real bar to have fun.
Accompanied by Chen Feier's true feelings,
Huang Miao's favorability panel in front of him finally reached the standard. Huang Miao,
who had removed the pressure from his heart, looked seriously at Chen Feier for the first time, getting rid of the utilitarian perspective. The girl in front of him was really beautiful. There's no need to care about this.
If you like it, you can come anytime. Life is short. Doing what you like is the most important thing.
Huang Miao said open-mindedly. This was also his attitude towards life.
Chen Feier looked at Huang Miao,
who was drinking with his legs crossed,
and in a trance, she finally realized the point at which this strange man attracted her. Chen Feier, who had been bound all this time, looked at the empty dance floor,
gathered her courage and slowly stood up.
I want to dance on this dance floor, alone. Can I?
Huang Miao drank the beer in his hand in a single gulp, and smoothly threw out a pleased gesture.
But, I'm a bit scared. I've never shown myself on such a big dance floor before. What if I don't dance well? What should I do? Looking at the hesitant Chen Feier, Huang Miao smiled easily. What are you afraid of? Now that I'm the only audience left in the bar besides the staff, no matter how well you dance, No, there won't be anyone else to see it. So, how would you feel about it? Chen Fei nervously looked towards Huang Miao, expecting his answer. The uncomprehending Huang Miao was not destined to give too good an answer. It depends on how well the performance is done. Applaud if you dance well. Spit if you don't. Hearing such an answer, Chen Fei pouted in dissatisfaction, took off her jacket and walked towards the dance floor. She wanted to rely on her own strength to win Huang Miao's applause. In the silence of the stage, Chen Fei began her hot dance. This girl, who had always presented herself as a lady, showed off her dance moves in front of Huang Miao. 3 minutes later, after the end of the dance, Chen Fei looked at Huang Miao in the shadows expectantly. Pa pa pa. Sporadic applause rang out as Huang Miao frankly expressed his appreciation. After harvesting what she wanted, Chen Fei immediately ran back to Huang Miao with a red face, inquiring in a low voice, "After that, will you still accompany me here?" Huang Miao subconsciously frowned, unable to figure out what was going on in this girl's head. Glancing at the mountain of beer on the table, he replied frankly, "Depends on the time. If I'm free, I can come back. If you're free, you can come back. However, it's a $200 a time." Yo! Right at the moment Huang Miao said his last words, the powerful dance music then started, and the sound of 200 was completely swallowed up. The word that fell on Chen Fei's ears became love. Such a blatant expression left Chen Fei at a loss for words, and she just stared blankly at Huang Miao at her side. Feeling Chen Fei's strange eyes, Huang Miao was very confused, but it didn't matter. Anyway, the mission had been completed, and after today, he wouldn't cross paths with Chen Fei. Thinking of this, Huang Miao happily took another sip and leisurely leaned back on the sofa, enjoying the berserk electric sound. Such a hellish composition just happened to be seen by Li Hao, who returned from a cha-cha meal. Looking at Chen Fei's imploring eyes, Li Hao praised Huang Miao from the bottom of his heart. "I thought Big Brother had been tricked by a beautiful woman, so it seems that the original Big Brother has a higher layer. How can we see it before?" Chapter 11, The New Table. Early in the morning, Huang Miao and Li Hao lie on the table in a daze. Last night's trip to the bar was tedious as hell. Only after Li Hao came back from Cha-Cha did he realize that those drinks didn't expire and that he had misremembered the time. Since the biggest reason for coming to the bar had disappeared, there was no need for the two internet addicts to continue spending time here. Chen Fei had likewise gotten the answer in her heart, and naturally no longer yearned for the freedom of the so-called rebellion. In her mind, there was a more precise interpretation of freedom. So, the three of them went their separate ways. Huang Miao and Li Hao came to the familiar internet cafe, and Chen Fei returned to the school alone. Not only that, Chen Fei also threw away all the sexy and revealing clothes, which she didn't like in the first place, and after talking to Huang Miao, these rebellious symbols no longer made sense. Of course, Huang Miao did not care about what Fei Chen did. After completing Chen Fei's quest, the love notebook finally subsided. However, the newly acquired skill box was inexplicably upgraded and turned into an intermediate self-selection. Huang Miao, who was snoozing on the table, secretly studied this new contraption, and after checking left and right for half a day, he couldn't find any difference. Intermediate. It sounds more bullish than primary, but I don't need it. Huang Miao, who came from a privileged background, had no financial pressure, and as an internet-addicted teenager extremely confident in his marksmanship, the things he valued most in his current state, he himself possessed. These so-called system plugins, for him there is no temptation. Hey, last time, I was in a hurry to seek revenge on that big man, so I learned a beginner's intercepting fist do. There's nothing that needs to be resolved right now, so let's keep the skill box for now. In case this love notebook gets up to something again, there's still a card to save your life. At this moment, the only thing that could threaten Huang Miao's happy life was this damn notebook. MMP. I'm really unlucky. Huang Miao rubbed his face in dissatisfaction and adjusted a more comfortable sitting position, ready to take a good rest and replenish the sleep he lost last night. Just then, the teacher on the podium began the most feared program among college students, naming and answering questions. As paragons of the one question three questions model, Huang Miao and Li Hao almost buried their heads under the table, just to avoid this annoying situation. Unfortunately, the university teachers didn't know these students either, so it was pointless for Huang Miao and Li Hao to hide. The mentor looked at the long list in his hands and casually clicked, "Li Hao, please get up and answer this question." WC. Li Hao helplessly scratched his head, shakily stood up, adjusted his expression, and said in a resigned manner, "Teacher, I don't know how to." Reasonably, the teacher had just talked about this problem, directly who wouldn't more or less hit the teacher's face, but Li Hao's little expression was very much in place. The teacher was also well versed in the extravagant life of college students, and fortunately did not pursue it further. In that case, let's let your friends around you answer. Li Hao's mood changed instantly. The aggrieved smiley face instantly turned into a gloating rush. As a detrimental friend,
There was nothing better than having a good buddy suffer with you. Huang Miao also did not expect this teacher to be so unorthodox, even directly pointing to the same table, and could only sigh helplessly, ready to learn from Li Hao's model to sell misery. Just at the moment when Huang Miao was ready to open his mouth, a small note appeared in front of Huang Miao's eyes. The font on it is elegant. It is not difficult to see the inner temperament of its author. Free to hand over the answer don't, even if it is wrong, but also better than the dull say will not be strong After making up his mind, Huang Miao directly picked up the slip of paper and repeated it word by word according to the record above. Although it had been a long time since he had recited something in class, the muscle memory from his previous high school was still there, and Huang Miao's recitation was still quite fluent. During Huang Miao's recitation, the teacher's expression changed significantly. That answer, it's a bit too perfect. To think that a student who doesn't listen well to the class, that his deskmates aren't very good either. It seems that this kind of thinking is a bit too inertial. The teacher applauded somewhat guiltily and said in a very atmospheric manner, "Awesome answer, Li Hao. Learn from your classmate." Add 1 credit to student Huang Miao. Under the tutor's praise, the other students in the classroom also looked curiously at Huang Miao. This internet-addicted old brother knew everything about what study status knew. This kind of answer was definitely not something he could answer. Then who exactly told him that? The result was a shock. I didn't expect that sitting next to Huang Miao was actually Chen Feier, that legendary never-moving professor's daughter. What was even more frightening was that at this moment, Chen Feier was looking at Huang Miao on her side with affection. The entire classroom resounded with countless sounds of pouring out cold air. The composition in front of them was just too frightening. Li Hao was even more sad. Still studying with Huang Miao? This old brother eats chicken with himself every day. What kind of appearance is he not clear to himself? What can he learn? However, when he saw Chen Feier in front of him, Li Hao understood. It turns out that the teacher is letting him learn Huang Miao's technique of picking up girls. Bull. This technique. I do have to learn it. Looking at Li Hao's admiring gaze, Huang Miao shrugged his shoulders in a stinky manner. To be honest, he didn't know why Chen Feier took the initiative to sit beside him and even help himself answer questions. Thanks. Regardless of the purpose, the thanks that needed to be said, still needed to be said. But this dry response didn't make Chen Feier very satisfied. Didn't you say that you'd still be able to take me out when you have time in the future? How about this afternoon? The sudden invitation caught Huang Miao off guard. He really couldn't figure out what kind of stuff this girl was thinking. Did I say that? Of course. Chen Feier nodded her head with certainty. As long as she believed it herself, she wasn't afraid of Huang Miao's disbelief. Looking at Chen Feier with such a serious expression, Huang Miao glanced suspiciously at Li Hao beside him, wanting to confirm with his wannabe brother. Don't look. There's only the two of us when you're saying that. Chen Feier said somewhat gamely. She really didn't understand how Huang Miao didn't respond when she had been so explicit. Looking at Chen Feier's serious look, Huang Miao could only believe it. I guess it's the nonsense I said yesterday when I was drinking. No problem. Just wait until I have time. Chen Feier finally waited for the answer she was expecting, and then increased her fire. Then when exactly will you have time? Huang Miao hears this and laughs, taking out his cell phone and analyzing it carefully. Then says seriously, unsurprisingly, it's the 5th of next month. All the games I play on that day will be out of service for maintenance. Chapter 12, New Assignments. You go live your life with those games of yours. Chen Feier beamed in dissatisfaction, no longer bothering with this nerd. Obviously she had made so much effort. Why didn't this person know how to take the initiative? Looking at the inexplicably angry Chen Feier, Huang Miao was confused. I'm just living my life with these games. There's nothing wrong with that. Although his heart was confused, Huang Miao didn't think too much about it. After all, in his eyes, Chen Feier was just a passerby. She could do whatever she wanted. The course was still going on. Chen Feier peeked at Huang Miao, who had a disinterested look on her face, and the more she thought about it, the more angry she became. What's wrong with this person? Didn't he say he loved me yesterday? Why is he ignoring me today? I don't understand. Wasn't he quite warm yesterday? Chen Feier sulked helplessly. As a pregnant girl with zero relationship experience, she really couldn't think clearly. Time passed by, and Huang Miao and Li Hao had already started planning their next game plan. At this time, Chen Feier's memory of last night gradually became clearer. Huang Miao's original words seemed to be that it takes love to bring me to play. In that case, my expression shouldn't be enough. Chen Feier stole a glance at Huang Miao and saw that he wasn't looking towards his side at all. Everything made Chen Feier confirm her previous thoughts even more. I have to express my sincerity first. Chen Feier, who had completed her self-strategy, quietly waited for the bell to ring. The moment the last note fell, Chen Feier made a decision that shocked the entire classroom. Huang Miao, let's go eat together at noon. If it was just speculation before, now it was a direct actualization. This Chen Feier really had her eyes on Huang Miao, and even more outrageous things were yet to come. Huang Miao glanced at Chen Feier with a dumbfounded expression, then waved his hand. No need. I'm going back to the dorm with Li Hao to play games. Just have a bite of instant noodles. Huang Miao's light reply caused the others to completely explode. WC. This is the recognized goddess of Suchun University. Just directly rejected it like that? Outrageous. Really outrageous. For the sake of playing games with his basemates, he would rather eat instant noodles than have lunch with the goddess. This dude can't really like boys. I hate it. Why didn't Feier invite me? If it were me, I'd directly unload the game altogether, just to be with the goddess at all times. Even the surrounding melon eaters were like this. As the person in question, Chen Feier was even more furious. Her little mouth was about to pout to the sky. After rejecting Huang Miao didn't care about Chen Feier anymore, and stabbed Li Hao, who stayed in place. What are you looking at, bro? Hurry up and get going. I'll go buy instant noodles and ham sausages. You go to the dormitory and turn on the computer. Fast, fast, fast. Any more dilly-dallying today is going to be less than a handful of chicken. Looking at how pious Huang Miao was, Li Hao was really powerless to spit. Big brother, I really thank you, but if you're like this, I'll really misunderstand. I like girls. I won't like you. Hearing Li Hao's abstract reply, Huang Miao man went numb. Dude likes girls too. Don't make a fool of yourself from here. Then why didn't you accept Chen Feier's invitation? Because we had a date to go play a game. It was a bit weird, but when you thought about it, it wasn't much of a problem. Listening to Huang Miao responding to the streak so silky smooth, the surrounding melon-eating audience no longer envied and jealous of Huang Miao, and more people began to sympathize with Chen Feier. Why would such a pretty girl like this dumb game geek? This question, Chen Feier also did not understand. But who could say about emotional things? Li Hao took a look at Chen Feier, who was on the verge of tears, and for the sake of his good brother's happy life, he chose to firmly sacrifice himself. Big brother, I have something else at noon. You and Feier go eat. We'll hack again in the evening. Bye. After saying this, Li Hao fled the classroom as fast as he could. Big brother, that's all I can do for you. Looking at Li Hao's direction of departure, Huang Miao was dumbfounded. What the hell is this? After seeing Li Hao leave, Chen Feier said grudgingly, now, can you have lunch with me? Looking at the pitiful Chen Feier, Huang Miao had no reason to refuse. Thinking that he hadn't had a proper lunch in the half a year since he came to school, he simply nodded and followed Chen Feier out of the classroom. My goodness, I didn't see it wrong. Chen Feier is actually still Huang Miao's spare tire. My goodness, stop it, I'm crying my eyes out. From now on, I'm going to be a gaming geek too. Amidst all the talk, Huang Miao and Chen Feier left the classroom. Walking on the way to the cafeteria, Chen Feier and Huang Miao didn't communicate too much. The two of them were just like an old married couple, walking calmly forward. The breeze blew through Chen Feier's hair, and at this moment she felt for the first time that the silence was also so mesmerizing. Just as Chen Feier was greedily enjoying her time with Huang Miao, their cell phones suddenly received a message. What's the situation? Besides Li Hao, no one has sent me a message to this number. Huang Miao strangely opened his phone and found that a mysterious person had sent him a video. As a gaming geek, Huang Miao was not wary and directly pressed open that video. Unexpectedly, it was a footage of a girl taking a bath. Although the key parts and face were mosaicked, most of the bare skin was enough to make one's blood boil. Huang Miao immediately turned off his phone after taking a look at it. It wasn't hard to see that this was a surreptitious video, the kind of stuff Huang Miao had traditionally disdained watching. So many serious shoot out of the movie, have to engage in a sneak peek. Why? Pure and simple superfluous. In Huang Miao put down to collect the moment of the phone, just happened to catch sight of the side of the cheeks reddened Chen Feier. What's wrong with you? Are you not feeling well? Facing Huang Miao's sudden thoughtfulness, Chen Feier hurriedly shook her head, signaling that she was fine. Huang Miao looked at Chen Feier's strange behavior and suddenly thought of something. Could it be that you also saw that video just now? Yes. Not only that, the college students passing by Huang Miao were also whispering, and from their lewd expressions, it was not hard to tell that this video was almost a handful. How strange. What does this mean? Can't it be that someone is deliberately trying to humiliate some girl? Just as Huang Miao was pondering, the damn love notebook appeared. Mission target, Lin Xianyi. Requirement, favorability increased to 10%. Punishment, death. INM. At this moment, Huang Miao's expletive seemed reasonable as a new death mission arrived. Chapter 13, 20%. Feier, do you know Lin Xianyi? Huang Miao called Chen Feier this way for the first time, causing this Sioux City schoolgirl to be flattered. I'm fairly familiar with her. When we did school activities before, we teamed up together. She's in the College of Commerce and Industry. All her relevant knowledge is solid, and she's nice. Chen Feier tried her best to recall the relevant information, wanting to help Huang Miao as much as she could. After hearing this information, Huang Miao was slightly relieved. Thank goodness I came out for lunch with you today. Take me to Lin Xianyi now. Please, please, please. Hearing Huang Miao lament so much, Chen Feier's heart blossomed. See, Huang Miao thanked me. He has me in his heart. It's really great. In her joyful state, Chen Feier led Huang Miao to Lin Xianyi in a confused manner, all the way to the door of Lin Xianyi's dormitory. She didn't even realize why Huang Miao suddenly wanted to meet this girl. The distance from the cafeteria to Lin Xianyi's dormitory wasn't too close, and the journey in between just gave Huang Miao time to deploy her thoughts. Love Notebook would not suddenly release a mission. Rational analysis. Lin Xianyi and the video and the cell phone have an inescapable connection. Unsurprisingly, Lin Xianyi is this girl who was secretly photographed. The question was, who in the world was it that was so mischievous, risking a crime to ruin the reputation of a little girl with a bang? What exactly was his source of motivation? Under the pressure of the Love Notebook, Huang Miao could only care about these things that had nothing to do with the game. However, the good news was that this time, Huang Miao was able to reach his target early at noon, and the time was still more lenient than that time of Chen Feier. Just at the moment when Huang Miao was considering these details, a scream pierced the sky. Oh my god! Someone is on the roof of the building. What is she going to do? Huang Miao quickly reacted, immediately squeezing through the crowd and looking towards the location on the roof. On the rooftop of the dormitory building, a figure appeared and disappeared. Holy, is someone going to jump off a building? What is this for? What can a college student have to go through? Listening to the comments of the people around him, a hint of crisis flashed through Huang Miao's heart. Then he turned to look at Chen Feier. Quickly, call Lin Xianyi now. Huang Miao's words were filled with a commanding tone, making Chen Feier very uncomfortable. However, seeing Huang Miao's tense face, Chen Feier no longer dwelled on these details. Pressing that unfamiliar string of numbers, the only thing that responded to her was the endless dripping sound. Chen Feier shook her head in Huang Miao's direction. Huang Miao's heart sank as things moved in the most critical direction. The young girl who was seeking death on the rooftop was none other than Lin Xianyi. Huang Miao took a deep breath and rushed straight into the girl's dormitory. Huang Miao, what are you going to do? That's the girl's dormitory. Looking at how crazy Huang Miao was acting, Chen Feier hurriedly followed quickly, afraid that Huang Miao would do something stupid. But at this juncture, Huang Miao couldn't care less about these details. The task given to him by the Love Notebook was to raise Lin Xianyi's favorability to 10%. Once Lin Xianyi succeeded in jumping off the building, then Huang Miao's task would be impossible to complete. He couldn't just let him operate on a corpse. For the sake of his own little life, Huang Miao had to be the hero for this act of bravery. Through a sea of girls' screams, Huang Miao ran straight to the rooftop. There, a girl in a white dress was quietly looking at the clear sky, with a visible tear trail at the corner of her eye. Ming, why would you do this to me? Didn't you say you would protect me for the rest of my life? Is this your way of protecting me? I don't believe it. I can't believe it. Huang Miao quietly looked at the young girl's back, listened to her self-talk, and probably understood the cause of the matter. Well, another silly girl who is trapped by love. I just don't get it. Is being single not fun? Isn't the game fun? What's the point of being in love every day? Having said that, Huang Miao did not act rashly. At this moment Lin Xianyi's mood is very unstable. The consequences of a rash attack is unimaginable. Just as Huang Miao was preparing to sneak around behind Lin Xianyi, relying on the physical strength of the junior intercepting fist to forcefully take down Lin Xianyi, Chen Feier ran over panting. Huang Miao, wait for me. Such a loud shout naturally caught Lin Xianyi's attention, and all of a sudden, he moved a little closer to the edge. Who are you guys? Why did you come up to the rooftop to find me? It wasn't until this moment that Huang Miao saw Lin Xianyi's true appearance. Unlike Chen Feier's graceful and atmospheric appearance, Lin Xianyi was that standard image of a small housewife. Looking soft and weak, she could instantly stir up a man's desire for protection. However, this was not the moment to appreciate a beautiful woman. Huang Miao was too late to explain the causes and consequences to Chen Feier, and slowly squatted down, signaling that he had no intention of continuing forward. Calm down, I have no malice. I just want to confirm something with you. Looking at Huang Miao's unfamiliar face, Lin Xianyi frowned. She was pretty sure that she had never seen him before. However, the moment she saw Chen Feier, Lin Xianyi came to a realization. You're Huang Miao? Why are you suddenly looking for me? Can't it be that you're Xiao Ming's assistant, specially coming over to threaten me? Hearing Lin Xianyi speculate in such an abstract manner, Huang Miao was at a loss for words. Facing the extremely emotionally unstable Lin Xianyi, any word could lead her to extremes. Facing Lin Xianyi's eyes, Huang Miao made a hasty move and easily spread his hands, holding back Chen Feier on his side. That's right, you guessed correctly. It was Xiao Ming who commissioned me to transmit those videos. I came here to make a deal with you. Chen Feier looked at Huang Miao in shock. Why was this old brother talking nonsense with his eyes open? Huang Miao had been staying with himself for the past few days. There was no time to commit a crime. And from Huang Miao's brain, which only knows how to shoot a gun, he shouldn't be able to do this kind of advanced operation. However, these words were impactful to the unknown Lin Xianyi. Speak, where is Xiaoming? I want him to come see me in person. I want him to tell me personally why he did it. Looking at Lin Xianyi's hysterical appearance, Huang Miao's expression relaxed even more. I'm only here to make a deal. I'm not responsible for delivering the message. If you want to see Xiaoming, go ask yourself but looking at you now, you shouldn't have a chance. Hearing Huang Miao's words, Lin Xianyi's expression stagnated as she glanced at the scenery at her feet in silence, and finally sighed and slowly walked down. Tell me, what are Xiaoming's conditions? Looking at Lin Xianyi, who had temporarily given up on suicide, Huang Miao let out a long breath. Although the move was old-fashioned, it had at least achieved its effect. However, the price Huang Miao had paid was also unimaginable. At this moment, Lin Xianyi's favorability towards Huang Miao became minus 20%. Chapter 14 New Technologies. Where's Ming? I need to see him now. I must ask him face to face. The ins and outs of these things. Lin Xianyi looked at Huang Miao indignantly, and in her mind, she had already composed a wonderful plot of a novel. Xiaoming must have been coerced by this man and forced to hand over her private photos. Those previous vows wouldn't dissipate like that, no matter how the words were spoken. Xiaoming must have loved himself. This point, Lin Xianyi incomparably confirmed. Huang Miao looked helplessly at the girl in front of her. The panel of the love notebook truthfully reflected her favorability towards Huang Miao at this moment. Red. The thieving kind of red. Forget it, it's better not to look. Out of sight, out of mind. Huang Miao sighed and closed the panel. There was no doubt that at this moment, Lin Xianyi's favorability towards him was already more than minus 20%. Since this was the case, Huang Miao didn't need to think about it too much. Anyway, it had come to this point. Any further drop would be considered progress. Huang Miao took a deep breath and grabbed Lin Xianyi's arm. This sudden and rude action shocked Chen Feier, who was beside her. Huang Miao, what are you doing? You haven't even grabbed my arm like this. I can't take it. Glancing at the babbling Chen Feier, Huang Miao did not reply. The main character at this moment was not this woman. After completely controlling Lin Xianyi, Huang Miao coldly said, I'm lying to you. I don't know any Xiaoming, and I'm not sure about the grudge between you guys. I just don't want you to die. Hearing such an explanation, Lin Xianyi frantically broke free from Huang Miao's bonds, and smiled miserably the moment she sensed that escape was hopeless. Don't want me to die? You don't understand. What's the difference between me and being dead now? My favorite man, my most trusted significant other, sold my private photos. Now at the University of Sioux City, everyone has a video of me. How do you expect me to live in this world? You say, tell me a plan. Looking at the hysterical Lin Xianyi, Huang Miao viciously grabbed her wrist. The intense pain made Lin Xianyi's whole body trembling, even unable to show her body. Want to die? You are just thinking about it. I only used such a small amount of force and you're in this state. Give not to mention the sense of impact of jumping. You think life is over if you jump? Have you thought about what comes after? You won't die immediately. You'll have to slowly endure the pain of pulverized bones and slowly lose consciousness. Before you die, you will feel what is called the 18 layers of hell. Your death is even more miserable. Right now it looks like there is still a human form. The moment you touch the ground you will turn into a puddle of broken flesh. Have you ever envisioned such an end? Lin Xianyi stared blankly at Huang Miao, the pain at her wrist still there, tears already breaking through her eyes. But what can I do? I'm already like this. I can't live on. Looking at the desperate Lin Xianyi, Huang Miao relaxed his strength a little and calmly turned his head to look at Chen Feier on the side. Feier, do you know that the female lead in this video is Lin Xianyi? Chen Feier looked at Huang Miao incredulously, while pulling out her cell phone and flipping through the video, her eyes filled with disbelief. This can't be. It doesn't look like it, and this has a mosaic. It can't be distinguished at all. Chen Feier had crossed paths with Lin Xianyi before, so she naturally knew this girl's character. This girl had always been soft and weak-feeling, without any extreme ideas, not even as bold as herself. How could it leave such a video? Looking at the stunned Chen Feier, Huang Miao placed his sight in front of Lin Xian's body again. So, what are you worried about? No one knows who the person behind the mosaic is. You are still safe. However, once you jump from this rooftop, all doubts will be solved. Your reputation won't be cleared by your death. Your parents and family will have to endure double pain. Is this the result you want to see? Listening to Huang Miao's calm analysis, Lin Xianyi cried even louder. What should I do then? I'm really desperate. No one can help me. Xiaoming knows everything about me. He wants to make a fool out of me, and there's nothing I can do about it. Looking at the helpless Lin Xianyi, Huang Miao did not have any sympathy in her heart. The fate of love brains was usually miserable. Starting a relationship at random would only make you fall deeper and deeper into it, constantly suffering from it. If it was normal,
Huang Miao would have probed the scene and then turned away, not wasting a second of her time. But not now. His own life was still controlled by the love notebook. Even if he didn't want to help, he couldn't just stand by and watch.
Huang Miao sighed long and silently closed his eyes,
and 10 seconds later,
a burst of golden light imperceptible to the naked eye flashed by.
Alright, this favor, I'll help, let's go. First go to lunch with us, only after eating will you have the strength to work. Huang Miao craned his neck,
as if the 10 seconds he had just spent had consumed a great deal of physical strength. Looking at Huang Miao in front of her, Lin Xianyi hesitated for a moment, then still honestly followed behind this man and walked down the rooftop. Under Huang Miao's practical demonstration and reasoning, she had already stopped thinking about suicide. However, Xiaoming's threat to herself was still tangible. At this moment, Lin Xianyi had absolutely no idea how to break the situation. She could only rely on this man she had never met before. On the side, Chen Feier walked to Lin Xianyi's side, carefully supporting this poor friend. Although the two of them hadn't crossed paths much, it still made one's heart ache to be subjected to such an encounter.
Everything will be fine. Don't worry, everything has Huang Miao. Chen Feier comforted Lin Xianyi in a small voice,
a trace of imperceptible dissatisfaction still hidden in her heart.
If it wasn't for Lin Xianyi, I would be dining with Huang in the cafeteria right now. What a rare time to spend together. It's a pity, even though Lin Xianyi is pitiful, I feel so bad.
Just when Chen Feier was alone and gloomy,
Huang Miao's voice came out of nowhere. Feier, do you have a laptop? I need to use it. Fine, but that system of mine is average. The configuration doesn't necessarily allow me to play with drama. Hearing Chen Feier's reply, Huang Miao cried and laughed. Sister, what time is it? How do you still have the heart to play games? I'm trying to help Lin Xianyi and get this mess out of the way. This kind of thing, the quicker you deal with it, the more you can control the impact. I'm going to erase this hidden danger completely today. Looking at Huang Miao's confident look, Chen Feier looked incredulous. Brother Huang, you know this stuff besides playing games. Chapter 15, the tone is not quite right. What do you think? Dude's got more power than Doraemon's pocket. Have whatever you want. Huang Miao subconsciously bragged with Chen Feier. Even with the effect of the love notebook, Huang Miao still didn't have much time to get in touch with girls, and he still subconsciously treated girls like Chen Feier as brothers to get along with. However, this feeling made Chen Feier, who had been enjoying the support and respect of the boys, feel another mode of getting along. For herself, this life-saving benefactor added another layer of reasons to like. However, this kind of dialogue for Lin Xianyi, there is no meaning. She had already fallen into the tragic circumstances she had constructed, and it was difficult for her to jump out. She just let Chen Feier drag herself to the cafeteria, sitting soulfully in her seat and waiting for Huang Miao's next move. You go back and get the laptop first. I'll get something to eat. Huang Miao sharply gave the order. As an excellent commander of chicken-robbing P-Town, this level of command was simply a handful. Looking at Chen Feier's departing back, Huang Miao glanced at the depressed Lin Xianyi. What do you want to eat? You can't just watch. Looking at the table can't be a meal. Lin Xianyi remained silent. In this lively cafeteria, she seemed out of place. At this moment, Lin Xianyi didn't dare to raise her head. The subconscious in her heart was warning her that as long as she raised her head, she would be recognized by the others. She herself was the female lead in the handful of videos. Then her own reputation would become a complete joke. Of course, now it looked like it was already a bubble that had been burst. Huang Miao sighed. Come on, just turned a rebellious girl into a normal person. And now there's a dud. Dude is just a gaming geek, can't be a warmonger at all. MMP, it's really annoying. While Huang Miao's mouth was broken, the effects of the love notebook instantly began scanning action. After consuming 2 scanning opportunities, Huang Miao managed to learn about the window where Chen Feier and Lin Xianyi most often went to eat. He then took off his jacket and covered Lin Xianyi's head. Since it's so unseemly, I'll help you hide it. Wait for me here honestly. Don't make any more messes. Huang Miao finished his dissatisfaction and turned around to blend into the crowd, going to get food for the 2 sisters. Feeling the still warm clothes, Lin Xianyi felt an unprecedented sense of security. This was another comforting effect of the darkness. In the most desperate moment, Lin Xianyi consciously remembered the smell of Huang Miao's body. To be precise, there wasn't really any special flavor. The most obvious, I'm afraid, was only that faint warmth. A few minutes later, Huang Miao returned with a sumptuous meal. Coincidentally, Chen Feier also returned with her laptop. Seeing Lin Xianyi, who was completely buried in Huang Miao's jacket, Chen Feier was jealous and threw the laptop on the table in dissatisfaction. What's wrong with her? Why is she like this? Chen Feier's sympathy for Lin Xianyi was only out of simple empathy. However, in the face of something related to Huang Miao, this layer of unfounded sympathy was weak. She could help Lin Xianyi, but this girl couldn't steal Huang from herself. Top game geek Huang Miao naturally couldn't hear the dissatisfaction in Chen Feier's tone,
and just put down the food in his hands and nudged at the side as, "You go sit over there and have a meal together. We can't go hungry anyways." At the sight of the food in Huang Miao's hands, the little screw-up in Chen Feier's heart instantly disappeared. "Brother Huang, how did you know that I like to eat these things? Did you start noticing me a long time ago? If so, you can tell me directly." Looking at Chen Feier in such a smelly manner, Huang Miao couldn't help but smile. This was the first time he had seen this look of Chen Feier. It had to be said that there was a unique beauty, not to the point of being overwhelming, but very comfortable. Facing this state of Chen Feier, Huang Miao rarely did not dislike her. "I guessed blindly. Hurry up and eat. It will get cold later." Looking at Huang Miao's appearance, Chen Feier's heart became sweeter. "Still pretending with me. Still pretending with me. Ha 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 ha. Brother Huang." Just as Chen Feier was about to rub up against Huang Miao's side, Huang Miao directly jumped over Lin Xianyi and sat on her other side. The three people formed a weird sandwich pose. Huang Miao and Chen Feier sandwiched the jacket-covered Lin Xianyi in the middle. "Alright, don't be an ostrich down there. Feier and I have blocked the view from both sides. No one can see your face anymore. If you continue to look like this, you'll only attract more people's attention. By then, the entire cafeteria will be looking at you." Hearing Huang Miao's threat, Lin Xianyi immediately raised her head, but she still held Huang Miao's jacket firmly in her hand, not willing to let go. Chen Feier looked at Huang Miao on the other side, her eyes growing more and more tender. This man's charm is always inadvertently revealed. Why he is always so careful, always concerned about the feelings of others. Why can't this tenderness be enjoyed by her alone? Chen Feier put her favorite fried meat into the bowl in front of her, and the idea of chasing Huang Miao into her hands became even stronger in her heart. This is a goal that must be reached. No one will be able to steal it from me. At this moment, Chen Feier saw Lin Xianyi's little action, and the disgust in her heart grew worse. What for? Grabbing onto Huang Miao's jacket and not letting go. "It's not something that belongs to you. Remember to return it." Chen Feier's words were all thorns, but Lin Xianyi automatically filtered them out as the calculated girl next door stared blankly at the food in front of her. Did you buy all of this?" Huang Miao didn't answer Lin Xianyi directly, eating to herself. "Hurry up. If you don't eat, you won't have anything left to eat. Buddies won't be polite with you. It doesn't matter if you're full." Hearing these words, Chen Feier's chopsticks down speed also obviously accelerated quite a bit. After all, these were her favorites, or her sweetheart bought them. If it was cheap for this Lin Xianyi, it would be too much of a loss. Looking at the two people who were drying rice at the speed of light, Lin Xianyi swallowed a mouthful of saliva and slowly picked up a pair of chopsticks. The small hand still held Huang Miao's jacket in his arms. "These are all my favorite foods. Even Xiaoming, it's not clear, even if I've said so many times explicitly and implicitly." Hearing this woman's words, Chen Feier couldn't sit still, and during the empty break between chucking dishes, she came over to Lin Xianyi's ear and said in a conspiratorial manner, "Don't mind it. Huang Miao is just a gaming geek. These are all things he bought blindly. Don't care so much." Wow, he guessed so accurately. Chen Feier's chopping action paused for a moment. This person's tone wasn't quite right. Chapter 16, Women are too dangerous. Don't think blindly. You'd better go find your little Ming first. At this moment, Chen Feier was no longer polite and sympathetic. Reasonably speaking, she didn't know Lin Xian well at all, and her affairs had nothing to do with her. She was fine either way. She was just trying to snatch Huang Miao's favor with herself. Watching the two inexplicably fight, Huang Miao shook her head in disbelief. Still, she quickly cut to the chase. "So well, even Xiaoming doesn't fully understand you. All the more reason not to worry. We still have a chance to turn the tide." After Huang Miao ate the last of the meat, she wiped her hands with a wet towel and entered into her work, opening the laptop that Chen Feier had brought with her. The hands that had once wrestled opponents in Peace City began a new battle in another battlefield. Huang Miao's serious side face made Chen Feier look infatuated, and her original state of hunger eased. Why didn't I realize before that there was a handsome man of this level in the University of Suzhou? It's really a case of having eyes without pearls, but this couldn't be blamed on Chen Feier. After all, Huang Miao hadn't been out of the dorm much before, and wanting people to know about him was simply difficult. Chen Feier's eyes were almost dilated, but she still couldn't wait for Huang Miao to smile back. At this moment, Huang Miao was completely integrated into the virtual world in front of him, searching for possible clues in the various messy codes, and finally found something fishy in the handful of videos, hiding pretty deep. It's just a pity that it was still found by me. Huang Miao sneered, his eyes narrowing slightly. During the moment of silence on the rooftop earlier, Huang Miao had opened the skill chest he had acquired in passing. Due to the fact that he didn't pay too much attention to this gadget after acquiring it, Huang Miao waited until he used it before realizing that it had been upgraded inadvertently, due to the host's mission being completed beyond the standard, and in turn received such a reward.
Huang Miao looked at this peculiar text and ultimately didn't delve further into it, instead putting his energy into skill selection. In order to unlock the secret behind this video, Huang Miao chose computer technology. However, the classification of computer-related professions was extremely diverse, and Huang Miao didn't know which part could help him achieve this, so he could only go through a series of introductions and find one that looked not too bad. From the results, Huang Miao bet right, and the upgrade of this intermediate skill chest was just right. That Lin Xian's mouthful of Xiaoming was not an idle one, and with such a high-level skill boost, Huang Miao froze and didn't find any slip-ups. It was only after insisting on it repeatedly for a few times that Huang Miao found the biggest suspicion. When Huang Miao clicked on the gadget, the thick mosaic directly disappeared, and Lin Xianyi's perfect ketone body appeared in front of Huang Miao's eyes without any cover. Chen Feier and Lin Xianyi, who had been paying attention to Huang Miao, immediately got up when they saw this and snatched Huang Miao's cell phone. Don't look! Don't look! Looking at the two sisters who reacted so dramatically, Huang Miao was dumbfounded. This reaction of this dainty Lin Xianyi on his side was quite reasonable. What kind of grey machine was this Chen Feier up to? Feier, is it hard to believe that you want to see it too? Although I didn't see it clearly, but it's indeed a bit bigger than you. What are you talking about? Chen Feier disgruntledly slapped Huang Miao's head, but in the end, she didn't feel like hitting it hard. Sandwiched between the noisy two, Lin Xianyi pressed her head down, tears constantly welling up in her eyes. Since Huang Miao was able to lift this mosaic with a few random maneuvers, that meant that as long as Xiaoming wanted to, she didn't have any innocence to speak of. Then what's the point of dawdling here? Go straight to hell. Huang Miao saw that Lin Xianyi's expression was a bit off and immediately pulled her arm. Don't think too much. I'm just studying this video with the purpose of locating that little Ming's position. The secret of this video has now been completely unlocked. Don't you worry about it. I'm the only one who saw the true appearance of this video. Huang Miao finished firmly before realizing that something was wrong there. Seeing Lin Xianyi's reddish face, she immediately changed her words to, I actually didn't see it clearly either. Humph. Without seeing clearly, you dare to jump to conclusions, saying that Lin Xian must be bigger than me. Chen Feier muttered with dissatisfaction written all over her face. This kind of comparison, Chen Feier couldn't admit defeat. Huang Miao strangely glanced at Chen Feier, not knowing what kind of nerve she was committing again. The two were almost about to start fighting again, and at this moment, the real protagonist of this incident, Lin Xianyi bit her lip and said in a small voice, It's okay, if it's just you who saw it, I can accept it. What the hell? Hearing this, Chen Feier completely lost her grip. This Lin Xianyi was messing around. Before, she was a poor woman who had her innocence tarnished and was trapped in the love net of a scummy man. Only an hour later, she was about to come out and steal a man from herself. What an abstract world. Huang Miao, who heard this, was also shocked. The first time she opened her love notebook, she then let out a long breath. Under his own wonderful maneuver, Lin Xianyi's favorability had reached 9%. This was a super smooth situation. The next casual messing around would be enough to reach the target favorability. Without letting his guard down, Huang Miao directly struck the keyboard under his hand, and after a flurry of magnificent operations, he completely contacted the video's crisis. Ah, that video inside my cell phone is gone. Ah, so suddenly? Too bad. I had already downloaded the mosaic breaking software. I almost knew the female lead in that video. Really? I wanted to know too. That body is really great. I really want to know what she actually looks like. She must be a real beauty. Listening to the comments from the table next to her, Chen Feier looked at Huang Miao in surprise. She really didn't expect Huang Miao to have this trick. Can such a large-scale video deletion work really be done in her own broken laptop? It seems that it's never the equipment that's trashy, it's the people. However, this frustration didn't last long, because Huang Miao was the man that Chen Feier recognized in her heart, and when he became powerful, she would be happy with him as well. There's really no problem with my vision. It's that love. How do I make him feel it? It really hurts my brain. I'm not looking forward to going to a bar. I just want to go somewhere with brother Huang Miao. Chen Feier's eyes began to look strange, and Huang Miao glanced away, feeling a chill run down his back. This is the rhythm of eating people. This Chen Feier in the end, what is the situation? The state of looking at me for a few days hasn't been right. It's better to keep some distance from her in the future. Women are still too dangerous. Chapter 17, A Hero Saves the Day? Along with Huang Miao's handsome maneuver, all possible threats were removed at once. Lin Xianyi's favorability had also completely risen to over 10%. The mark of mission completion finally appeared before Huang Miao's eyes. Nice. Old me finally finished the mission before night. In that case, I can comfortably take a nap and play chicken with that pussy Li Hao afterwards. Although this love notebook has been acting like a demon, but it wasn't so bad as to go back on its word. No matter what, there can only be one mission. It's impossible for them to appear consecutively.
Huang Miao sheepishly looked at the notebook several times.
But fortunately, this heartless notebook hadn't moved,
and the rewards determined for that quest had already arrived.
The new skill chest could be opened at any time. With the bottom card, there was time. Huang Miao's mood naturally wasn't bad,
and freed from his bonds, he cheerfully stood up. He walked straight towards the gate.
Both of you, I'm going back to rest. This trip has exhausted me. You guys go about your respective business. See you again sometime. Hearing these words, how could Chen Fei still sit still? Wait a minute, didn't you say you were going to have lunch with me? Why are you leaving just like that? Hearing this extremely abstract question,
even Huang Miao was a bit unable to react.
Ha, what do you mean? Wasn't I just having lunch with you? Chen Fei blushed red and shook her head firmly. No. The natural one just now can't be counted because it wasn't you and me. Ha, Huang Miao touched his head,
confused about the logic of Chen Fei's thinking,
but it didn't matter. Today's work was done mile.
He no longer had to pick up girls.
I only belong to the game next. Don't call me when there's nothing going on. Of course, don't call me if there's something wrong. Looking at such an unappreciative to Huang Miao, Chen Fei's stomach was full of grievances and incomprehension, not knowing how to express them. What? That game is really more fun than me.
Just as Chen Fei was thinking about how to beat that damn game,
Lin Xianyi's cell phone suddenly rang. Seeing the familiar yet unfamiliar name on the screen, Lin Xianyi's hands kept trembling.
The man who had given her countless attachments has now completely removed the mask of hypocrisy.
How to face this broken emotion?
Lin Xianyi looked to Huang Miao for help,
but Huang Miao, who was already off duty at the moment, did not have any intention of stopping. In the final analysis, Huang Miao is not a nosy person. If it wasn't for the mandatory requirements of the love notebook, he wouldn't want to care about these weird things. Looking at Huang Miao's unrelenting footsteps, Lin Xianyi bit her lip, glanced at the jacket in her hand, and made up her mind to press the answer button. Xianyi, it's possible. I didn't realize before that you still have this ability but to be honest, I don't believe it. The person I'm looking for is one of the top talents in Sioux City. Ordinary people simply can't crack it. You must have someone behind you. No wonder you've been so resistant to sleeping with me. So there's someone else in your heart. Bitch, you're still pretending to be innocent. I'm going to take it out on you. Xiao Ming viciously cursed his former lover,
without the slightest trace of his previous tenderness and compassion. Hearing such words, Lin Xianyi smiled miserably.
So you just want to get laid? Then isn't it good for you to go directly to the lady? Why also come over to provoke me?
Why do you still have to say those sweet words?
Why?
Lin Xianyi ignored the public scene at the moment and angrily called out the anger and resentment in her heart. This was her first love, carrying all the good hopes. It turned out to be like this. Could it be that love doesn't exist in this world? Lin Xianyi's eyes were occupied by tears,
washing away her naive vulnerability. Ahahaha. Love? Lin Xianyi, are you telling me a joke? In this day and age, isn't male-female interaction just for snogging? Talking about what true love is. You've watched too many TV dramas. I'm telling you, I've still got something on you. If you don't want to be seen, come to me and do everything I want. By then, I guarantee that you'll fall in love with me. On the other end of the phone, Xiao Ming's expression was lewd to the extreme, his right hand continuously pounding underneath.
Lin Xianyi snorted coldly.
You're daydreaming. I don't want to see you now. No, it's not right. I don't want to see you in the future either. Between us, it's completely over.
Hearing Lin Xianyi's such resolute words, Xiao Ming did not flinch.
Completely over? Ahahahaha. Really? You think it's that simple? I have a lot of pictures of you in my hands. Even though I don't sleep with you, I'm not missing any of the places I should be looking at. If your father saw these pictures, I wonder what he would think. Hearing this, Lin Xianyi was dumbfounded. She really couldn't imagine that this man was going to drag her father into this. You're crazy, Xiao Ming. You just aren't a person. How dare you? I will never allow you to do this.
Lin Xianyi's threats had no meaning for Xiao Ming.
What kind of international joke are you making? Now it's Lousy who is threatening you. How dare you contradict me?
Why don't you hurry up and put on your sexiest clothes and crawl in front of me?
My patience is limited. Don't make me wait too long. Such shameless statements infuriated Chen Fei, who was watching from the side. You're so disgusting. Threatening people with this kind of? You really are a disgrace to men. If every man was only like this pussy of yours, old me would be single for the rest of my life. Hearing the new female voice, Xiao Ming in turn became more excited. Ahahaha. Can't it be that it's Lin Xianyi's best friend? It's really great. Listening to your voice, I clearly feel the hint of lust. How about it? Do you want a buddy to help you out for a bit? I'm willing to volunteer my labor. Don't mind multiple people exercising yo. Listening to such a disgusting speech, Chen Fei's last sanity also dissipated. Rolled up her sleeves, the previous image of the big girl was gone. The little sister who got high at the nightclub came back. CNM.
If you dare to appear in front of my mother, I'll make you crawl back. Xiao Ming shook her head in disbelief.
I don't mind a little actual combat, yo.
At this very moment,
Huang Miao suddenly walked back,
his face as frosty as ice, the muscles in his hands rippling with veins.
Where are you? Xiao Ming frowned at the unfamiliar voice and didn't say anything. I'm asking you, where are you? Huang Miao's voice was even colder, and even through the phone,
Xiao Ming felt a chill.
What? Want to heroically save a girl? Got that skill? Chapter 18, Pressing the Wrong Person. It was a slightly cool afternoon in Sioux City. Chen Feier stared dead at the white jacket on Lin Xianyi's body,
her heart filled with regret. I should have known better than to wear a jacket.
That way Brother Huang's clothes would be mine. It really was a miscalculation. Next time must pay attention.
A girl should want poise, not temperature. The moment Chen Feier was pondering,
Huang Miao coldly said, actually, it doesn't have much to do with you.
I still need to be distracted from taking care of you when I'm bringing you along.
Why don't you just go back?
Huang Miao's voice was calm and sounded like it had a reassuring feeling. Hearing that Huang Miao was willing to take care of herself, Chen Feier's heart was so refreshed to the point of taking off that she didn't care about the latter half of the sentence at all.
No, I must take a look at this scum. How dare he hit on my mother's attention? Really don't want to die.
Chen Feier stretched out her fists,
looking fierce. Huang Miao, who had seen the wild side of Chen Feier, didn't care too much,
and just said coolly with his hands in his pockets,
doesn't matter, take care of yourself. He then took the lead and entered the gloomy alley. Yes,
Huang Miao had still given up his precious nap time to personally take care of this mess.
At the moment when Huang Miao turned around and was ready to leave, the Love Notebook's follow-up quest appeared.
Help Lin Xianyi resolve her love dilemma. Reward most adaptable host's peripheral. The moment he saw this reward, Huang Miao directly turned 180 degrees without even glancing at the corresponding punishment.
This kind of mission, Huang Miao could never fail. Do you know the significance of peripherals to a gamer?
MacArthur had once said that there was no peripheral in this world that Huang Miao could adapt perfectly. There was no need to question the gold content of this reward.
So let alone taking a nap, even if it was an all-nighter at night, Huang Miao had to help Lin Xian as soon as this lousy person was set straight. Huang Miao had plenty of reasons to do so,
but such behavior fell in Lin Xianyi's eyes, and it completely changed its flavor.
Huang Miao, I didn't know him before, but he actually knew what I like to eat,
appeared when I was most helpless,
and helped me. Now, he's even willing to risk his life. How can I repay such a favor? Indeed, I can only give myself to you. Lin Xianyi pondered blankly. As a love novice,
simply do not understand the knowledge of these twists and turns,
can only slowly grope and consider. Looking at Lin Xianyi's changing unpredictable expression, Chen Feier, who was also a girl, felt a huge sense of crisis. Hey, you don't think blindly, ah.
Brother Huang has his own reasons for helping you.
It has nothing to do with what you think. Don't think about it.
You don't need to think about anything else either.
Chen Feier spoke righteously.
Her heart was equally unsettled.
Huang Miao's style of behavior was very strange,
without any sympathy on his lips, but he would always give silently when facing real difficulties.
Such a man, really too handsome. The two girls both advanced on Huang Miao's back, and up until now, the two of them had believed that Huang Miao would take care of everything. For some reason, it was that certain kind of trust. The shadowy pathway led to a hidden room.
Huang Miao took a deep breath and kicked the door open.
That powerful kick startled Lin Xianyi. Isn't Huang Miao a game geek? How come the body is so good? Ah, it's not the same as a normal condition. Faced with Lin Xianyi's question,
Chen Feier was speechless and could only shrug her shoulders and act like she knew everything.
I understand everything. If you don't understand, it means that you and Huang have different brainwaves. So yeah,
there's really no need to get together if you're not on the same page.
After saying this, Chen Feier entered the room ahead of Lin Xianyi,
facing that scum Xia Ming directly. Looking at the burly and handsome Huang Miao in front of him,
Xia Ming in the dark frowned. I didn't expect that little is so capable. Seduced a white-socked gym student. Hearing this abstract title, Huang Miao hummed disdainfully. Wide your eyes and see clearly. I'm wearing black socks, and I'm not a gym student. I'm a serious BA Boehner gamer. Huang Miao's flat denial wouldn't affect Xia Ming's judgment. Ha 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 ha, game geek or gym student, it doesn't really matter. Brat, this is society, not a school. To mix outside, it's all about power. Do you think you can walk sideways just because you have a few tendons? After saying this,
Xiao Ming directly jumped down from the sofa and respectfully bowed deeper.
Big brother, I still ask for your help. At that time, these two little nieces, take your pick, play with whichever one you like. Hearing this, Huang Miao spat contemptuously. After half a day, it turns out to be a little yakuza. This kind of woman chasing thing, you still need big brother to help? Otherwise, you'd better cut the thing in your pants. There's really no use in keeping it.
Chen Feier began to have extreme bad breath and madly flirted with Xiao Ming,
causing this scumbag to have an extremely wonderful expression. Humph, this is the only time you can be a little bit wild,
when you are subdued by us later.
Don't beg for mercy,
because begging for mercy is useless.
Ha 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 ha.
Just at the moment when Chen Feier was about to counterattack, the large man who appeared silenced the entire room.
It's that guy, Huang Miao. Run.
That's right. The one who appeared in front of the trio's eyes at this moment was the big fat guy who had beaten Huang Miao to the point of pretending to be dead at the bar.
At the moment,
he was looking at Huang Miao in dismay.
The small arm hanging in front of his big belly was quite comical.
Chen Feier, who had sensed the fat man's power, shielded Huang Miao behind her.
Huang, don't freeze. Hurry up and run. You can't beat him. Then you can beat him?
At this crisis point,
Huang Miao was still cracking unsavory jokes,
without the slightest bit of tension on his face.
Faced with such a question,
Chen Feier froze, then said with a red face,
I don't want you to get hurt.
At this time, Lin Xianyi also blocked in front of the two. This matter started because of me.
There's no need to involve anyone else. Xiao Ming, you let them go.
Let them go?
Absolutely impossible.
I'm going to ravage you all and then make this boy the audience.
Ha 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 ha, what an exciting show, isn't it?
Looking at Xiao Ming's appearance,
Huang Miao coldly smiled.
Seeing his gaze turn to Fatty. What do you say?
Do you need me to do it? Fatty understood, directly turned around,
and a Tarzan pressurized Xiao Ming underneath him. This sudden attack of great weight knocked Xiao Ming dumbfounded, and it took close to a minute before a sentence popped out. What is this situation?
Big brother, you're pressing the wrong people. Your opponents are them. Chapter 19, Slipping Away. How can I press the wrong person? The one I'm going to press is you. This SB. How dare you bully my big brother?
I'll rip your head off. Seeing such an abstract development,
Chen Feier and Lin Xianyi looked at each other, completely at a loss as to what to do. Alright, you guys can disperse now. What's the point of making me a big man? Hide behind you guys. There won't be a next time. Huang Miao laughed and flirted,
seemingly without the intention of thanking him, but this slightly reckless response allowed the two girls to settle down quite a bit in their hearts.
Just now,
although Lin Xianyi and Chen Feier had subconsciously squeezed in front of Huang Miao in the moment of crisis,
but who didn't want to have a boy who was willing to protect them at all times? What about this time being the exception? Everything is about going with the flow afterward, Chen Feier said with certainty,
and these words fell on Huang Miao's ears as if they were heavenly writings.
Ah, what betting certainty? Ah, did you bet with anyone? Won or lost? Ah.
Looking at Huang Miao's face full of naivety,
Chen Feier grinned and didn't say anything more. With a person like Huang Miao,
it was meaningless to say more.
Only actions could make this simpleton react. Just now, Chen Feier had already ordered a gaming computer. No matter what, he had to learn that chicken game.
This big girl was going to stick to Huang Miao in the game world.
As for Lin Xianyi, her joy didn't last long, and after seeing the photos on the table, her emotions fell to a low point. Are these all the information? Huang Miao crossed over Lin Xianyi to look at Xiao Ming. At this moment, Xiao Ming didn't have any arrogant aura, lingering and weakly nodded, and Shattered Tiger laboriously laid out his cell phone, signaling that this was all there was.
Huang Miao did not look at more than a glance. A foot will be the phone stepped on the broken, in a pile of crushed parts, found the compact card, without giving Lin Xianyi a chance to pick it up and check it out.
Huang Miao stomped on the tiny card with another powerful kick. Brother Huang,
I want to see with my own eyes just how much has been surreptitiously photographed by this scumbag.
Lin Xianyi sniffled fiercely,
barely maintaining the most basic calm.
Seeing such a Lin Xianyi, Huang Miao didn't say anything and walked into that table, scanning the extremely revealing photos on it.
Fatty, is this your place?
No, it's this kid's. It's just a hut built out of hand. It's worthless. Hearing this, Huang Miao nodded and flew a check for 100,000 to Xiao Ming's eyes. I'll buy this place. Take this money and roll. Forget all the things you did during this time. Don't divulge a single bit, or else. Huang Miao didn't have any extra words to say,
and with a sign from his eyes,
the fat man finally let the poor Xiao Ming go.
This scumbag crawled up shakily, picked up the check on the ground, and ran as hard as he could, waiting for the footsteps to get farther and farther away.
Huang Miao looked at Fatty. Hard work.
What's in that man's hand is your payment.
How much you can take depends on your skill. Hearing this, Fatty had a look of surprise on his face. Really, Brother Huang? Wouldn't that be a bit too much? Huang Miao smiled and shook his head. This is what you deserve. Take care of it yourself. If you think it's too much, you can leave some for that pussy. Hearing this, Fatty's expression changed. That's more than impossible. That kind of goods doesn't deserve such an amount. After saying this nonsense, Fatty dragged his injured arm and ran towards the payoff that belonged to him, while Huang Miao took out a lighter and lit a cigarette. It's all over. I didn't even look at these photos. After saying these words,
The lighter in Huang Miao's hand slipped and set those photos on fire,
and the worn-out furniture around them burned. Let's go. This place will be engulfed in flames. No one will care about what happened here. Forget about all this past. You only need to remember one thing. Next time you look for a boyfriend, remember to keep your eyes peeled. After Huang Miao finished speaking, he directly went up and pulled Lin Xianyi away from this sea of fire that was about to be born. Feeling the strength of Huang Miao's arm, Lin Xianyi was like a lifetime ago, a few hours ago. She was in despair, thinking about how to end her life and evade this tragedy. It was this same man, this strength, that pulled her away from death. Now, this man used a flame to purify her past, and the memories that speckled it. Brother Huang, you really haven't seen those pictures? In the face of Lin Xianyi's sudden question, Huang Miao was obviously not well prepared, and only replied subconsciously, how could that be? I just feel that yours is bigger than Fei's. Rascal, liar, Lin Xianyi and Chen Fei said at the same time, and Chen Fei took the opportunity to break Huang Miao's fingers apart, putting distance between Lin Xianyi and Huang Miao. So yeah, men are really every good. Sisters, next time you're looking for a man, be sure to keep your eyes peeled. Of course, the best option is still to keep it cuckoo. Don't ever subconsciously look for a man. You can't afford to get hurt. Chen Fei educated Lin Xianyi as a person who had been there before, and in reality, this big sister was purely a relationship buff. Listening to Chen Fei's analysis, Huang Miao let out a bitter smile. Hey, it's fine for you guys to criticize boys, but can you not do it in front of me? I'm naturally still a good person. Hearing this, Lin Xianyi nodded in agreement. Aha, from today onwards, I'm going to walk with a good man. The man I'm going to pursue must also be a good man. With such an obvious hint, Huang Miao didn't understand it at all and just nodded perfunctorily before walking quickly towards the school. Now the time is not too late. If a little faster, can still return to the dormitory on time, and Li Hao Haka. Looking at the uncomprehending Huang Miao in such a hurry, the two sisters were a bit squirmy. Are you in such a hurry? Can't you talk to us for a little while longer? Hearing Chen Fei's complaint, Huang Miao willed his mouth to be closed fiercely. Sorry, I'm dumb. I really can't chat. Bye you two. See you again sometime. Huang Miao increased his horsepower and quickly got out of the two people's field of vision. Compared to accompanying a girl, Huang Miao preferred shooting guns with his brothers. Chen Fei shook her head deflatedly in the face of such a scenario. Damn it, I can't believe he got away again today. It's really upsetting, but there's no matter. As long as you're still at Suchun University, I'll be able to find you. Big deal. Go to P City to find you. Chen Fei was still full of wariness. On the contrary, Lin Xianyi, her expression was obviously a lot more forlorn. I don't know what kind of things this little girl who was hurt by the scum was thinking about at the moment. Forget it, go back to school. Chapter 20, Sequelae. WC, is it so unlucky? The dormitory has a blackout. Huang Miao shouted incredulously, the speed of his feet going straight to zero. Then what's the point of bringing it in the dormitory? Take a taxi directly to the city center. Just happen to upgrade the equipment. Dude just got an unbeatable set of peripherals, 100 times stronger than before. Huang Miao was excitedly flirting with Li Hao, but the lazy bastard had already laid down to play with his cell phone. The 200G of traffic every month plus the super large capacity rechargeable treasure had left this geek without any reason to go out. Hey, it's okay. Today was supposed to be a good day for scoring, but you're dragging it out so much that you've lost all your luck. There's nothing to talk about. Bye. Huang Miao hung up the phone with loss. The original flame in his chest disappeared. It's hard to bear. Li Hao, why don't you want to come out at this time? No, it should be the school's grid back. What a jerk. Just as Huang Miao was beating his chest and strangling his wrists, the two sisters behind him caught up. When Chen Fei saw the stopped Huang Miao, she probably guessed what was going on in her heart, but she didn't have the time to flirt or get close to Huang Miao. Her old man had started looking for her all over the world again, so in order to avoid unnecessary trouble, she could only go back to school first. The departure of her rival gave Lin Xianyi a chance to get close to Huang Miao, and also allowed her to unravel the doubts in her heart. Brother Huang, can I ask you a question? Seeing Lin Xianyi's cautious appearance, Huang Miao scratched his head and temporarily suppressed the annoyance in his heart. Just ask, but I guess I can't give too good an answer. You know, I'm a purebred gaming otaku, and I really only know how to play games. I don't have any relationship experience. I can only express some of my own narrow-minded opinions. As he had already adapted to the current internet era, Huang Miao habitually stacked his armor, fearing that something would go wrong. Looking at such a cautious Huang Miao, Lin Xianyi smiled slightly, then lowered her head and hesitated for a long time before asking in a low voice. Huang Miao, will you think I'm casual? Huang Miao frowned and looked at Lin Xianyi strangely. Why are you suddenly asking that? Wasn't the previous past all burned away by that fire? There aren't any photos being left behind. Don't worry, As for the relevant people who saw it, their mouths are all very tight.
Lin Xianyi smiled upon hearing this and shook her head, her eyes looking straight at Huang Miao.
No, that's not what I meant. I just want to know what you think of me.
Faced with such a direct question, Huang Miao was also a bit confused,
really not sure what kind of answer this girl actually wanted.
But she had asked this, so there was nothing for her to disguise. After all, the Love Notebook's mission had already been given.
After that, the probability was that he wouldn't cross paths with Lin Xianyi.
Huang Miao cleared her throat and organized her thoughts a little.
I think it's okay. After all, who hasn't met a scumbag before? Relatively speaking, you've protected yourself well enough. After all, you didn't hand over the most precious thing directly. It's just that you met a bad guy. Just pay attention next time. Hearing such an explanation,
Lin Xianyi's eyes lit up and subconsciously approached Huang Miao.
Then would you like a girl with such an experience? Huang Miao was shocked when he heard this question.
What is this and what is this? How could such a girl be related to herself?
Huang Miao waved his hand, wanting to refuse to answer this question, but Lin Xianyi, who had always been timid and even a bit cowardly, was incredibly tough this time. I want to hear the attitude. Can it, brother Huang? Seeing such a contrasting Lin Xianyi,
Huang Miao had no choice but to nod with a bitter smile.
It doesn't matter to me. In my eyes, it doesn't matter what you experience. What matters is what kind of person those experiences will mold you into. I value the results more. I guess, like I said before, no one will know about this past about you, but her mark will always appear and flicker around you.
Huang Miao lowered her head after she finished speaking,
no longer saying too much. Come to think of it,
now is also considered to be with the girls alone communication alone.
This for Huang Miao but never before experienced. In the face of unknown and novel events unfolding,
even Huang Miao was a bit uncomfortable.
Well, that's it for today. I still have things to do when I go back. See you again sometime. After finishing these, Huang Miao hurriedly left Lin Xianyi. Even with a love notebook, this game geek still couldn't skillfully deal with girls.
Looking at Huang Miao who escaped,
Lin Xianyi let out a giggle. Brother Huang, you're really fun. I'm really looking forward to spending time with you afterward.
Lin Xianyi's smile grew brighter and brighter.
In just 12 hours,
she had experienced a wide variety of emotions. It was no exaggeration to say that it almost exceeded the sum of the emotions Lin Xianyi had experienced in her life up until now. But after the drastic emotional fluctuations, the benefits gained were also bountiful. This girl who had very average luck in love, this girl who had close to zero vision in picking out boyfriends,
bumped into the man worth fighting for in life. Although he looked naive now, the underlying color of his soul was pure blue. I'm glad to know you, brother Huang Miao. About the past, only you clearly understand. About the future, I want to pioneer with you.
Lin Xianyi immersed in their own compilation of love story.
A time to come out.
Even so, on the main road gradually stood silly happy. Passing pedestrians couldn't help but speed up their steps when they looked at such a bizarre picture.
How iconic this little girl looks. What a pity. Surprisingly, she's a fool. Sure enough, there won't be any perfect people in this world. Really, there won't be? This question never bothered Huang Miao.
At this moment he only wanted to rush back to his dormitory because the love notebook told him that the perfect peripheral equipment had arrived under his desk,
waiting to be inspected by its new owner. Ha 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 ha.
My gaming weapon has finally arrived. I'm going to continue my great conquests. I'm going to continue my great conquests.
I'm going to continue my great conquest.
The excited Huang Miao increased his speed further and even started humming a little song. At this very moment,
in the woods at the corner of the University of Suzhou,
there was a figure that appeared and disappeared. This time wasn't too late, but due to that location being too remote, there were still few people paying attention. Huang Miao looked at that strange figure,
scratched his head in confusion, and prepared to proceed as planned, going straight back to the dormitory. But just the moment he turned around, a key piece of information was parsed into him. This mysterious woman is actually a woman. My goodness, don't think so much. Hurry up and check the situation first. Huang Miao wasn't a lustful man. This was all the aftermath brought to him by the love notebook. Chapter 21, Underwater Kissing. Wait a minute, wait.
Huang Miao shouted and rushed over.
With the experience of saving Lin Xianyi before, this time Huang Miao's movements were obviously much more skillful.
His tone was more gentle, and his distance control was also very appropriate.
Hearing Huang Miao's shout,
the girl reacted and slowly turned around. Her long bleached hair fluttered in the wind, and a sweet face appeared in front of Huang Miao's eyes.
Huang Miao's mouth opened wide and she couldn't help but raise her finger. You, are you?
Looking at Huang Miao's stuttering and adorable appearance, the girl adorably spat out her tongue and said in an extremely cute voice,
Hello, it's me, Fan Si Chen Yo. The iconic white hair, elegant dressing style, plus an extremely healing smile. That's right, in front of Huang Miao was the hottest blogger at the moment, Fan Si Chen. Even a game geek like Huang Miao recognized the goddess-level internet celebrity.
who was now standing playfully in front of Huang Miao. Such a probability was really. Huang Miao reflected for a long time before squeezing out a smile. After all, this was a celebrity. And Huang Miao was more or less nervous. The thoughtful Fan Xichen saw the apprehension in Huang Miao's heart and took the initiative to maintain the distance between him and Huang Miao.
No need to be nervous. I don't have a shooting assignment today, so I'm just a vegetarian. Compared to this, I prefer this kind of state. So, can you please treat me like a normal girl? Hearing this, Huang Miao giggled. It's actually not impossible if you ask for it. Huang Miao then turned around, leaving this popular blogger with a backstory before drifting away. Hey, you, where are you going? Fan Xichen called out to Huang Miao, who kept moving away with a smiling face, facing this growing curiosity. Didn't you say like usual? When I see a girl, I usually go around like this. Looking at Huang Miao, who had a serious face, Fan Xichen laughed even more joyfully. What are you doing? Girls don't eat people. This makes it seem like we're scary. Huang Miao tilted his head, then voluntarily waved his hand, waving goodbye to this netizen. After all, he wasn't used to having contact with girls, even if the opposite side was a famous and faceless super blogger. The reason why Huang Miao ran here so quickly was that he was PTSD by the love notebook. Now walking in and seeing the identity of the woman is Fan Xichen. It is estimated that she came here for the sake of the scene. I believe that there will not be any danger to life, so they can also leave peacefully. Huang Miao very dejected glance at the notebook in the pants pocket. Little fellow, I didn't expect it. I've already started to learn to predict the pattern of your mission releases. Don't think about playing me like a monkey again. Looking at Huang Miao's gradually moving away back, the corner of Fan Xichen's mouth curved up slightly. It's really interesting. There wasn't a single boy who faced me with such an expression before. You're the first one. Yo, I want to know this boy's name so much, but it seems like there's no chance. Let's talk about it afterward. However, after this, Fan Xichen was about to say something, and turned his head to look at the pool not far away. Flop. Timely mission. The host has no right to choose, and must take it immediately. Requirement. Increase Fan Xichen's favorability to 30%. Punishment. Withdraw the right to use the top-tier peripherals. Huang Miao froze in place, looking at the panel in front of him with a stifled expression. You're really going rogue with this laptop. Lousy worked so hard, spent money and manpower to set things right with Lin Xianyi. It's so hard to get that set of dream-cherished peripherals. As a result, now I didn't even see it. It's confiscated for my buddy. You're still not a human being. It seems like you really aren't human. At this moment, Huang Miao was in a super upset mood. It was now close to 5 o'clock in the evening, 7 hours short of the end of the day. Even if he pulled Fan Xichen out of bed and chatted all night, there was no way he could bring his favorability up to 30%, right? After all, Huang Miao wasn't exactly a love saint. Good news. This mission, even if you fail, you won't karma. Bad news. The punishment is something and the strength is more difficult to accept than karma. Huang Miao. The tangled Huang Miao looked back at Fan Xichen, who was sinking peacefully in the water inside helplessly. Forget it, just think of it as a buddy doing a good deed for once. It's really a shame that such a big beauty is directly karma'd. In the future, there will be one less option to watch a dress-up video. After considering this, Huang Miao directly turned around, and at the same time, to be on the safe side, he opened the skill box he had just obtained and equipped the swimming skill. Huang Miao was a bit of a swimmer herself, and in this kind of pond where the current wasn't too fast, it wouldn't be so bad that she would sink and drown. However, if you rely on this three-legged work to save people, it is purely looking for death. Plus Fan Xichen emotional very stable, seems to have the will to die. Such a person struggling up, without some skills is really not good to save. After all the preparations, Huang Miao Jiangzi drilled into the cold pond, searching for traces of Fan Xichen. In the clear pond, Fan Xichen hands protected in front of the chest, elegant and calm, like a mythological goddess in general. The image in front of him made Huang Miao a little torn. Obviously, death is Fan Xichen's own choice. Is it really right for him to interfere? Huang Miao rubbed his somewhat sore eyes. Even with primary swimming skills, the most basic physiological feedback was still always there. Feeling the depression in her chest, Huang Miao was clear that she didn't have much time to hesitate. Forget it, whether she wants to die or not has little to do with me, but at least today, she must not die. For the sake of my perfect peripherals, for the sake of my bedtime dressing video afterward. The determined Huang Miao didn't have any confusion, and rushed straight to Fan Xichen's face, pulling her hand up and yanking it upwards in a deadly manner. Feeling this magical pull, Fan Xichen didn't bother to resist, letting Huang Miao pull and drag. It was only that Fan Xichen had been in the water for far too long, and the oxygen in her lungs had already been depleted. At this moment, the big netizen was on the verge of suffocation and could go into shock at any time. Huang Miao,
who was exerting upward force, felt the tension at his arm and turned around to find that Fan Si-chen's state was beginning to be wrong.
I'm going, don't. I'm all wet, just don't have these accidents. In a moment of urgency, Huang Miao pounced in front of Fan Si-chen, and transferred the little air in his mouth to mouth into Fan Si-chen's body.
The warm gas awakened Fan Si-chen's soul, and the soft touch was a completely new experience for her.
So this is kissing. Chapter 22, go. 5 minutes later,
Huang Miao was panting and lying on the edge of the pond,
too weak to feel a trace of strength. Not far away, Fan Si-chen was draped in Huang Miao's jacket, shivering in the cold wind of Sioux City. Not long after, the fat man rushed over on his ass. This time, the first thing he saw was the wet and seductive Fan Si-chen, and he was instantly dumbfounded. WC, big brother, this girl is. Looking at the fat man's unimpressed face, Huang Miao kicked his foot in dissatisfaction. What are you looking at? Never seen a woman before. Hurry up and give me the stuff. Fatty hemmed and hawed. He'd seen a lot of women, and all kinds of teacher routes were even more out of the question. But Fan Si-chen and those vulgar powder completely different. She was every geek's dream girl. Feeling the fat man's dull eyes, Huang Miao shook his head helplessly and got up himself to take the clothes and towel into his hands. Go away. Eyes are going to fall off the floor if you keep looking. It was only under Huang Miao's coercion that Fatty slowly withdrew his eyes. Big brother, didn't you say you were going to show me that cool interceptor fistu? I'd been waiting for a long time. I also helped you take care of that little yakuza before. Now it's always time to show me. Hearing this, Huang Miao let out a bitter smile.
His sinful relationship with this fatty started from the fight after the bar.
In that brawl, Huang Miao had demonstrated the intercepting fist that belonged to Bruce Lee, and that move was full of force. So, even though Huang Miao broke his arm, the fat man still chose to start mixing with Huang Miao from then on. You know, this is the way of the intercepting fist. Authentic Jeet Kune Do. It's so cool. Looking at the bashful fatty, Huang Miao couldn't bear to reject this brother, and simply pulled off his soaked shirt. You wait a little bit. After saying that, Huang Miao put the clean towel on Fan Si-chen's head, who was not far away. Wipe it off a little first. Change your clothes later. After saying this, Huang Miao gave a look to Fatty. A smooth set of boxing techniques then appeared before the eyes of the two. And that was exactly the boxing techniques that Bruce Lee had settled down with in the movie world. A set down was only a few minutes, but the shock brought to Fatty was more than a little Big brother, this too, it's too cool. Huang Miao laughed. Not only is it handsome, but it's also awesome in combat. At the same time, he nudged in the direction of Fatty's arm and reported a slightly apologetic smile. Ahahaha, this arm break is so worth it. Big brother, I'm going to go back and study it properly, so take your time and enjoy the fragrant encounter. But seriously, those two this afternoon were also superb. Big brother's erotic encounters are really enviable. After finishing his speech, Fatty dragged his broken arm and ran away, leaving just Huang Miao alone in the wind. What an abstraction. I only wanted to eat chicken happily since the beginning. How did I end up in this situation?
Huang Miao sighed and turned his head to find Fan Si-chen staring straight at himself,
motionless.
Even that clean towel was still covering the top of his head without a single change.
Hey, if you don't wipe it clean, but you'll catch a cold. Fan Si-chen smiled and shook his head. I'm already a dead man. Does it really matter if I catch a cold or not? Hearing this, Huang Miao shook her head breathlessly, walking straight towards this big netizen who harbored the heart of certain death, carefully wiping off the water droplets on Fan Si-chen's face. Why do you want to save me? I won't be able to give you anything. Will bring you endless disappointment and trouble. Looking at the unusually moody Fan Si-chen, Huang Miao set the clothes in her hand in front of her. This is what I want to be paid for. Let me take a look at this matching set. This shouldn't be too difficult for a wearer blogger. Looking at Huang Miao's clear eyes, Fan Si-chen smiled slightly. But where would you have me change? It can't be in the middle of nowhere. These words woke up the confused Huang Miao. Right, this is a university here. There are plenty of hotels around. Why suffer here? Thinking of this, Huang Miao directly grabbed Fan Si-chen's hand and walked towards the hotel outside the campus. Go, let's go get a room. Hearing such revealing words, Fan Si-chen's face flushed red. Can you cover up a little? There are a lot of people around. Hearing Fan Si-chen's complaint, Huang Miao was very confused. In order to prevent her from catching a cold, she could only open a room first. What's wrong with that? Just as Huang Miao was about to retort, an icy gaze stabbed at him from the surroundings. Look, that girl is Fan Si-chen. Which one is Fan Si-chen? What? Is that the fashion blogger? Let me see. Is this the legendary wet body temptation? Is it that big of a game? Listening to the rumors that rose up in all directions, Fan Si-chen had a frank face, and even had some feelings of relief. Didn't those black fans keep recreating their yellow rumors? This time, it would be better to just sit on the truth. Anyway, he had already lost the motivation to live. Those annoying aftermath.
Let them judge as they please. However, this brought endless pressure to Huang Miao. What is this situation? I just casually saved someone, and I've become a public enemy. Not only that, Huang Miao also discovered another very sad event. Even though he had done his best to save Fan Xichen, this big star's favorability had been going down. It had dropped from the 10% at the beginning to a negative number, causing Huang Miao to be upset. So yeah, girls are really too weird. It's really not as good as shooting guns, at least in the game. A hit is a hit and a miss is a miss. Unlike with girls, what you say you'll do and what you actually get, it's not the same at all. I'm not one for riddles, Huang Miao muttered, finally surviving the baptism of the crowd's eyes and bringing Fan Xichen to the nearest gaming hotel. 2 rooms, Huang Miao said late, subconsciously pulling out his ID card. At this moment, the front desk lady marveled at Fan Xichen's wetsuit temptation. Even as a homosexual was a bit taut. Hearing Huang Miao's words, the receptionist froze for half a day before slowly starting to register. Right at this moment, Fan Xichen reached out and stopped the front desk's movements. No need for that. 1 king room. Tonight, I want to try out what the bad women they talk about are really like. Hearing Fan Xichen's tiger and wolf words, the receptionist and Huang Miao were stunned. Pretty sister, calm down. Is this man really worth it? You must be responsible for yourself. Hearing this, Huang Miao frowned in dissatisfaction, and that rebelliousness surged in her heart. Directly flipping her hand, she grabbed Fan Xichen's arm. Go! Chapter 23 The Presence of Beauty. Inside the room, Huang Miao quietly leaned against the window, listening to the sparse sounds of undressing behind her, her heart swirling. Huang Miao is a strong young man. This moment is the best moment of physical strength and energy. Where to suffer this kind of temptation? What's more, the main body of temptation, or that one's daily must brush the wear blogger Fan Xichen. I don't know how long. Fan Xichen's movements were much smaller. Alright, having finished changing, you can turn your head now. Hearing this, Huang Miao let out a long breath. This period of time had been too hard, and with his desperate gun pressure, he had finally not been exposed. However, Huang Miao had just turned his head when he saw a blood-curdling scene. Fan Xichen's clothes had just been changed halfway. The red underwear was still bare, and the white as fat skin was exposed, giving an indescribable feeling of temptation. Sister, why are you doing this? I don't know you well. Stop tempting me. Huang Miao looked at Fan Xichen pitifully. He really didn't understand what this big-name star wanted to do. Fan Xichen looked at the displeasure on Huang Miao's face and smiled adorably. It's simple that I'm going to be a badass woman. Those damn comments have been all kinds of judgmental under the video, talking about how tight I am in private, but I don't even know who they are. Now that I have no hope of surviving, I might as well die like them. Fan Xichen ripped off the clothes he had just put on, slowly closed his eyes, and put on an appearance of letting the king pick him. Looking at such an active Fan Xichen, Huang Miao did not have any joy on her face. The data on the love notebook reflected Fan Xichen's favorability in real time. At this moment, Fan Xichen, who made such an active and seductive move, had reached minus 40% of his favorability. This were temptation. This is clearly the last madness before death. Huang Miao sighed lightly, a trace of compassion rising in her heart. In Fan Xichen's ears, Huang Miao's footsteps were getting closer and her expression was getting calmer and calmer. Let's end it like this. A ridiculous beginning, a ridiculous end. This ridiculous life of mine. It's time to end. Just as Fan Xichen was preparing to take on that stormy attack, his somewhat cold arms suddenly warmed up. One by one, the clothes that were originally taken off were put back on by Huang Miao. Let's chat. Even if you want to die, it's not too bad for a while. And the windows here are fake. It's not even realistic to want to jump. Hearing Huang Miao's words, Fan Xichen looked at this fool dumbfounded. His previous gentleness and cuteness swept away. Why are you doing this to me? Ravage me. It's just like what they said. I'm bad. I'm not a good person. I'm a piece of trash. Fan Xichen cried out hysterically. Huang Miao did not react in any way. She just looked at Fan Xichen, quietly. Such a strange Fan Xichen. Let Huang Miao feel real and release. After Fan Xichen cursed for 5 minutes, this beauty finally ran out of strength. Looking at the panting Fan Xichen, Huang Miao gave up a seat and stepped down and take a rest. Continue cursing later. Hearing Huang Miao's words, Fan Xichen let out a giggle. Ha 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 ha. You're really funny, but I'm going to talk to you in advance. Once I sit down, I can't get up no matter what. You won't be able to get me today. Looking at Fan Xichen's playful appearance, Huang Miao casually shrugged her shoulders. It doesn't matter. I don't like doing sports with bad women. That kind of explicit stuff is not as fun as shooting guns by yourself. Hearing this, Fan Xichen looked at Huang Miao's body with quite a deep meaning, and that look made Huang Miao's heart hairy. You calm down a bit. The big gunfight I'm talking about is the physical gunfight. It's the gunning inside the game. Oops, can't say it clearly. Huang Miao helplessly sat down on the chair at the other end,
looking lifeless. Looking at such a lovely Huang Miao, Fan Xichen completely put down his heart and removed his defenses. Recently, my videos were attacked by black fans. It was only then that I realized that my movements that were designed with care, and my elaborate costumes, in their eyes are just scratching their heads and seducing men. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe, subconsciously, I am such a bad woman, but you believed that you weren't. So you started endless internal mental conflicts, and finally got yourself into this situation? I'm sorry, is that what happened? My favorite fashion blogger. Hearing this, Fan Xichen slowly lowered his head, not answering Huang Miao's words. Huang Miao smiled slightly. At the moment when Fan Xichen had just changed her clothes, he had already researched Fan Xichen's browsing discipline and habit of viewing comments through her cell phone. This silly girl only reads black fans' comments every day, so she was recognized by big data as a fan who hates Fan Xichen. So under every video, the black comments, poor comments were placed at the top for her to view, and the encouragement and words of those fans who really liked Fan Xichen, she couldn't even see them. The information cocoon in the age of big data is really abstract. Huang Miao shook her head with a smile. She then turned her own cell phone on and clicked to Fan Xichen's video. Take a look at this comment section. Seeing Huang Miao handing over her cell phone, Fan Xichen had an innate fear, and she instinctively resisted looking at those dirty words. Hey, big star, aren't you ready to die? Aren't you determined to be a bad woman? What's the matter? Can't you do this little thing? You can't be a bad woman like this. Stimulated by Huang Miao's words, Fan Xichen took a deep breath and placed his cell phone in front of him. Prepare to meet the netizens and black fans of abuse and spit. But the moment Fan Xichen clicked on the comment section, a light she had never seen before and didn't dare to imagine appeared. Sister is so beautiful. Super like sister. Oh my god. This action design and makeup is beautiful. Please ask for a detailed tutorial. Okay? Thank you for your videos, because their existence make me believe that there is beauty in this world. Chapter 24, Add a Friend. Why is this completely different from the comment section I've seen? Looking at the demented Fan Xichen, Huang Miao laughed. It's not because the big star only reads the comments of the black fans every day, and over time, you can only see those negative comments. Hearing this, Fan Xichen slowly lowered his head. I merely wanted to look at my shortcomings and then improve on them. I didn't realize that those people were simply hurling insults and rumors, and they weren't even willing to finish watching the video. Looking at the tangled Fan Xichen, Huang Miao sighed. There are a lot of bad people in this world. You don't need to satisfy everyone's preferences or gain everyone's approval. Doing well for yourself and letting the people who like you feel happy and joyful is already enough. Fan Xichen looked at Huang Miao, who had a serious face, and a warm current passed through his heart. It turned out that he was never alone. Even in the unseen and unnoticeable cyber world, there were equally loyal fans that silently guarded him. Then what should I do after that? What should I do? Fan Xichen had already gotten out of that deadly vortex, but in the face of the future, he still had misgivings. Looking at Fan Xichen's appearance, Huang Miao didn't even need to think about it. Knowing that this silly girl would definitely continue to read the black fans' comments afterwards, she was a little too concerned about other people's opinions. Hey, for the love notebook quest, for the top peripherals I've never met, for the sake of the wearing video afterward, I can only go out on a limb. Huang Miao took a deep breath and spread his right hand out, placing it in front of Fan Xichen. Give me your cell phone. Hearing such a strange request, Fan Xichen didn't put up any resistance and subconsciously handed Huang Miao his cell phone, unlocking the screen in the process. Can you have some sense of precaution? In case I'm a bad guy and get some unspeakable secrets out of your cell phone, wouldn't you be miserable? Hearing Huang Miao's words, Fan Xichen shook his head seriously. You won't. My life was saved by you. How could you possibly be a bad person? Alright, you're right. Looking at Fan Xichen's rightful little expression, Huang Miao didn't know how to retort for a moment, and could only nod silently, not blaming or kindly reminding. It's better to be careful in the future. Trusting others so easily will lead to big losses. Hearing this, Fan Xichen heartlessly laughed out loud. It won't be. It's because usually I don't go out much. I don't have many friends. Hearing this, Huang Miao was taken aback. Really? You're such a top-stream dressing blogger, would you not have any friends? Of course, other than shooting, I'm just alone at home watching movies and geeking out. I'm already used to being alone. Hearing this, Huang Miao recalled that compared to those uploaders who moved to collaborate and link up, Fan Xichen had indeed always produced videos independently, never trying to rub off on anyone, never trying to rub off on any one person's hotness, just seriously getting dressed. Listening to the contrasting private life of the glamorous big netizen, Huang Miao shook his head. It's really true that people can't look at each other. I thought you were a superb presentable person before. It turns out that like your buddy, You're an ultimate loner. No, you're not as good as me. I at least have a great friend to keep me company.
Huang Miao's words caused Fan Sikan to lower his head once again, and small pearls began to gather in his eyes.
Yes, I like you a lot. The life. Hearing Fan Sichen's somewhat trembling speech, Huang Miao was confused. What's the situation with this big star? Why is he suddenly crying and weeping? Hey, forget it. Anyway, the person has been saved.
And just now the love notebook has also fed back the mission completion tone.
Next, the work at hand is done. You can directly leave. No matter what, meeting the wearer blogger that I've been viewing today can't be considered a loss, right? In front of Fan Sichen, Huang Miao began to tinker with the cute little cell phone. In just a few minutes, Huang Miao had figured out all the programs in Fan Sichen's phone. Obviously, this big star wasn't lying. She really didn't have the slightest bit of current experience. All of the communication methods were nothing but work in movies. It was really a bit abstract. However, Huang Miao looked at these completely unintentionally. The main purpose witnessed was to make a shielding device for this silly girl. A few minutes later, Huang Miao's Fan Sichen mind protection program was completely finished. Alright, from now on, the comments section of any of your videos, as well as your personal private messages and communication platforms, will automatically have the negative comments removed. From now on, you won't be able to see a single bad comment. Enjoy your life. No need to pay attention to those dog spammers whose lives are not as good as you want them to be. Huang Miao put Fan Sichen's cell phone down, then walked towards the door with his pockets inserted. Are you leaving?
Fan Sichen raised his head in panic, his loose sportswear paired with his pearly face,
causing Huang Miao to go into a trance. No wonder it's hot. This face value is really demonic. I kind of understand the ancient fainting kings. With this kind of beauty, what else do you need a river and mountain for? Having said that,
Huang Miao only stayed to flirting on his lips. In his heart, he knew that he and Fan Sichen were not from the same world.
If he wasn't in love with his laptop, he wouldn't have taken the initiative to get close to this kind of Netflix celebrity. Just treat this experience as a good memory. Bye-bye La.
Prepare well for the dressing videos afterward.
Yo, I'll watch every installment. Don't worry about those spammers' words anymore, but you won't be able to see it after that. After saying this,
Huang Miao shrugged and thanked that Lu Xiaoming in her heart. If this pussy hadn't used his computer skills to get Lin Xianyi's video out, he wouldn't have used the skill box to learn this technique himself.
Actually using it, it was really good, but at the end of the day, it's still not as good as Huang Miao's cocky shooting skills. Alright, I'm done with what needs to be done. Bye, we'll see you again sometime. After saying this, Huang Miao easily pulled open the door of the room,
ready to end this interesting encounter.
Wait a minute, you said there are a lot of people supporting me, but I haven't seen any of them. After that, if I can't think straight again, how should I get their support? After hearing this, Huang Miao was embarrassed in place. To be fair, Huang Miao really couldn't help in this regard, and realistically speaking, Huang Miao didn't recommend Fan Sichen to have offline contact with those fans. After all, even if they are fans, there are a lot of nonchalant ones. Fan Sichen, a geek girl who only watched movies, probably couldn't handle it. Right at this moment,
Fan Sichen gathered her courage and swung her cell phone in front of Huang Miao's eyes.
Can I add a friend? Chapter 25, Frozen. What does this mean?
Looking at the cell phone that Fan Sichen took the initiative to come over.
Huang Miao didn't react. Do you have any connection before and after this? Hearing Huang Miao's question, Fan Sichen explained somewhat nervously. You're the only fan I can reach out to, so I wanted to establish a connection with you. Just like what you said, learn to draw positive energy from you. Hearing this, Huang Miao was a bit stunned. What did he say? The big star had taken the initiative to add himself as a friend. To add or not to add? Just as Huang Miao was hesitating, the panel of the love notebook arrived, albeit late. Since Huang Miao hadn't pressed the mission completion button yet, once Fan Sichen's favorability fluctuated, he would likewise have to face the punishment of mission failure. I'll go. What kind of timing is this? Forget it, just add it. I won't be the one to suffer anyway. Forced to do so,
Huang Miao had no choice but to close the door of the room he had just opened, take the cell phone Fan Sichen handed over,
and enter his WeChat number into it. Thank you. Not only did you save my life, you also gave me a bright future. I don't even know how to thank you. Fan Sichen looked at Huang Miao with affection. As a literary girl who watched movies every day, she had automatically brainstormed many romantic encounters as well as love encounters. However, the reality was obviously not as beautiful as the plot of the movie. As a master of electronic devices, Huang Miao unexpectedly met her Waterloo on the issue of adding friends. How strange. Why can't you add me to your account? Huang Miao scratched his head strangely, while glancing at the time on his cell phone. His heart became even more anxious. It'll be time to battle Li Hao for Peace City later. There really can't be any more delays. After dozens of attempts, Huang Miao sat on the bed sweating profusely. What's all this? Why can't you even add a friend? Hearing Huang Miao's tone, Fan Sikan glanced nervously for a few moments, then inquired in a low voice, can you let me try? In the movie I watched before, when faced with a difficult problem, it was the other one who came up with a plan to get a solution. Glancing at the expectant Fan Sichen,
Huang Miao handed over the 2 cell phones in his hand.
To be honest, Huang Miao really couldn't figure out the reason. Perhaps Fan Sichen, a layman, could find a way to crack it? Just at the moment when Fan Sikan was scanning the code to authenticate again, Huang Miao's WeChat name was exposed in front of her eyes. I'm your dad. This name is a bit weird. Fan Sikan pondered for half a day, but still couldn't find a suitable adjective, so he could only call it weird in general. But this behavior woke up Huang Miao. I'll go. I know what the reason is. This cell phone of yours has been guarded by me, and all sensitive words are going to be blocked, and that includes this dad. I'll change my name then. Huang Miao reached out and prepared to retrieve her cell phone, when Fan Sichen suddenly pulled away from the two of them. This name, can it be changed by me? Hearing this request, Huang Miao opened her mouth. To be honest, it wasn't very good. God knows what kind of strange name this big star would come up with, but the love notebook was still informing Fan Sichen's data in real time. Yes, this girl was red again. Okay. Hearing Huang Miao's somewhat hesitant voice, Fan Sichen poked his head out and carefully confirmed, is it really okay? No problem. Change it boldly. Just don't be too strange. Nothing else is required. Hearing this request, Fan Sichen smiled sweetly. Okay, I won't change too much for you. As soon as the words fell, Fan Sichen removed the last 2 words of Huang Miao and then turned it into a fan. I'm your fan? It's a bit weird, but it's still within the acceptable range. Hearing Huang Miao's comment, Fan Sichen was happy. Okay this is a successful addition. Right, as expected. Without the influence of sensitive vocabulary, Fan Sichen finally got Huang Miao's WeChat friend bit. Nice. After that we can chat all the time. Looking at Fan Sichen's happy face, Huang Miao had a moment of fear in her heart. This woman won't be thinking of sending me messages every day in the future. That would be a big deal. You know, the more messages you send back to a woman, the softer your shot is. I have to think of a way to find a chance to delete this big star. Huang Miao, you're not thinking, delete me. Sure enough, all those words you said were just words to comfort me. How can anyone be willing to support and accompany me all the time? Seeing Huang Miao's delayed response status, Fan Sichen's little mind began to think more again. The love notebook warmly prompted Fan Sichen to redden again. Impossible. How is it possible? Don't worry, I will definitely keep you until the end. Definitely won't delete. Watching Huang Miao swear without blushing, Fan Sichen was relieved, but still stretched out his finger. Unbelievable. Unless you are willing to pull the hook with me. Looking at Fan Sichen, who was close to her eyes, Huang Miao had a look of disbelief on her face. This girl's state was completely different from the form displayed in the dressing video. Isn't this just a little kid? Huang Miao laughed and shook her head, cooperatively stretching out her own fingers to fulfill Fan Sichen's request. Pull the hook and hang yourself. Don't change for 100 years. After doing so, Huang Miao finally fled that room, ending this encounter that stood out. Hey, it's okay. It's not too late now. That pussy Li Hao should still be online. Can't wait. Just start screwing. Huang Miao, who had completed his mission, flew to the dormitory, not caring about Fan Sichen, who had his eyes full of himself in the hotel. In his eyes, everything was a love notebook mission. After that, he and Fan Sichen probably wouldn't have the chance to meet again. The next game time was the same as before. Huang Miao was still slamming C, but unfortunately, he just couldn't eat the chicken. Li Hao tried his best to do a good job with Ado, but he couldn't help crying and fussing. The night's performance wasn't magnificent. The only gain was, that set of peripherals is really top level. The night was silent, and the next day, Huang Miao and Li Hao still dragged their tired bodies towards the classroom. In these days' classes, teachers like to call the roll, and for the sake of their diplomas, these two gaming geeks can only be forced to come over and stay up a bit. However, the atmosphere of today's early 8 classroom was a bit strange. Originally, it should have been a moment of confusion, but the students inside the classroom all seemed to be in high spirits. What's all this? Aren't they sleepy? Li Hao yawned and spat, then sat his butt down in the back row, and when he cocked his head, he directly froze. Chapter 26, Other Positions. Oh my god, I'm not mistaken. This girl is Fan Sichen. Li Hao's original confused state instantly woke up and stammered in the direction of the corner of the classroom. Fan Sichen? Which Fan Sichen? Huang Miao was still immersed in yesterday's passionate battle and didn't react for a moment, looking over in the direction Li Hao pointed to, and at this moment, the face of last night's scourge appeared in Huang Miao's field of vision. How did she come to our school? This Huang Miao scratched his head and subconsciously wanted to dodge away, but on second thought, he stopped moving again. That's not right. Why did I run? Did anything happen between me and Fan Sichen? This is still my school. There's no reason to run away. Thinking of this, Huang Miao swaggered into the classroom, ready to sit in that familiar corner seat. The last roll call incident was an accident. Usually the teacher was looking at the students who arrived to take their names, so naturally, he wouldn't notice Huang Miao and Li Hao's position. Knowing that this corner position was simply the most buggy existence in the entire classroom, no angle in front could see what Huang Miao was doing. Wanting to sleep was simply as easy as walk, early ate good make up asleep, and so wake up as mealtime, directly start cha meal, perfect day so start. Huang Miao excitedly ran to his own position. Until close, he realized that the problem is not right. Fan Sichen happened to be sitting on the outermost side of the room, and due to her unique Netflix aura, there was no one around her. But Huang Miao wanted to reach his dream seat. However, for Huang Miao to reach the coveted spot, she needed Fan Sichen to stand up and get in herself. This girl really knows how to pick her spot. Huang Miao shook her head helplessly, then poked Fan Sichen's shoulder. What a coincidence. Meeting again. Can I make it in? Hearing Huang Miao's voice, Fan Sichen smiled covertly, then nodded non-committally. Of course you can. My life's savior. We are really too fated. Surprisingly, we ran into each other 2 days in a row. So, isn't there going to be some kind of story? Looking at Fan Sichen's little expression, Huang Miao was a little tense. Big sister, can you let me pass first? It's very tiring to stand. Hearing Huang Miao's complaint, Fan Sichen gave an oh-so-disappointed sigh, then reluctantly got up to make way. Huang Miao obediently brushed past Fan Sichen, just in time to hear Fan Sichen's whispered mutterings. So strange, that's not how it plays out in the movie. After that, it should be the male lead who gladly accepts and starts the sweet journey. Can't it be that I did something wrong? Looking at the dumbfounded Fan Sichen, Huang Miao had no choice but to sigh helplessly. Hey, what era is this? There are still girls who fantasize about replicating scenes inside a movie? But it's reasonable if you imagine it carefully. After all, Fan Sichen's chances of coming into contact with other people were quite small. And this kind of stupidity, 2 days ago, he was also doing it. Now the ridicule is just 50 steps to 100. Bringing Huang Miao to sit down, an eerie silence formed between Fan Sichen and him. There were less than 10 minutes to go before class, and this long silence was just a bit too much for Huang Miao to bear. So he poked his head out and waved his hand at Li Hao, who was still gawking at the classroom door. Dry gawking it, brother. Come in, class is about to start. You don't want this sleeping mecha anymore. Hearing Huang Miao's call, Chen Yuan stumbled for a while. No good, big brother. That is after all the seat next to Fan Sichen. The firepower there is just too fierce. I can't hold up. Hearing Li Hao speak so unprofessional, Huang Miao snorted. What the hell is going on? Fan Sichen isn't some demon or devil. Do you need to be so afraid? Just come over directly. Hearing Huang Miao's urging, Li Hao carefully glanced at the rest of the boys. In just 10 seconds, Li Hao immediately sat in the last row, not moving any further. Hey, this goon, not even willing to sit next to a beautiful girl. It's simply softer than the gun in the fight against P-City. Huang Miao spat disgruntledly at Li Hao, then straightened up his sitting posture and prepared to formally enter hibernation mode. However, his spitting was clearly heard by Fan Sichen. Huang Miao, what did you just say? Fan Sichen's slightly reddish face came to Huang Miao's eyes. This flawless face made Huang Miao a little confused. It's nothing. You heard wrong. In Fan Sichen's expectant eyes, Huang Miao was a bit flustered and subconsciously shifted his eyes elsewhere, resulting in the scenery elsewhere, which made him a bit scared. Compared to Fan Sichen's slightly reddened little face, the surrounding boys each possessed fishy red eyes. Faced with the murderous sight, Huang Miao had the sense to turn his head and face Fan Sichen directly once again. You said it. I clearly heard you. Fan Sichen's pouting speech was so destructive that Huang Miao could only hold her forehead and nod. Yes. I just said you're beautiful. Thanks. Today's efforts paid off. Huang Miao complimented me on my beauty, yo. Looking at the blossoming and smiling Fan Sichen, Huang Miao asked curiously, don't you know what level your own face value is? It's basically not controversial, right? Facing Huang Miao's question, Fan Sichen smiled sweetly. I know, but I'm more interested in knowing what you think. I want to hear your own evaluation. Looking at the glowing-eyed Fan Sichen, Huang Miao's eyelids twitched. What's going on here? This niece isn't right. Just as Huang Miao was plunged into the hall of exciting thoughts, another cool female voice came. Hello classmate, can you give way? I'm going to that seat over there. Huang Miao was taken aback when he heard it. Why is Chen Feier here again? My assignment with her is already over. Why is this sister sticking to me? Meeting Huang Miao's awkward gaze, Chen Feier approached Fan Sichen step by step. As a girl, Chen Fei's understanding of beauty did not differ much from that of a boy's,
and she had often watched Fan Chen's dressing videos, and was considered to be a small fan of this great beauty. But now, all of these small appreciations and favorites had disappeared. Chen Fei was incomparably sure that this Fan Chen was her love rival. Between girls and girls, there would always be this weird bond and liaison. Fan Chen, as a love white, as if he knew exactly what was going on in Chen Fei's mind, rubbed his thighs and said regretfully, "I'm really sorry, my legs are a bit sore and I can't stand up a bit. Can you please go to another seat?" Chapter 27, A New Enemy. Tea, too much tea, a glance of tea. With just one round of exchange, Chen Fei characterized Fan Chen. Anyway, as long as he grabbed Huang Miao with himself, he was not a good person. No way. Huang Miao and I made an agreement yesterday. We have to sit together today as well. Chen Fei also began to talk with her mouth full at the critical moment. The only thing that overcame T words was T words. Really? I don't believe it. When Chen Fei dared to speak, Fan Chen dared to believe, his bright eyes flashing with clear stupidity. Huang Miao, did you really say that? Faced with the question that Chen Fei suddenly threw over, Huang Miao was dumbfounded. This kind of inexplicable words, Huang Miao didn't want to directly take the blame. You two women are at each other's throats. What does it have to do with buddies? No, yesterday, I merely happened to be sitting with Chen Fei. I didn't even say a few words. There's no such thing as a vow. Getting Huang Miao's response, Fan Chen instantly reversed the situation. You're very problematic. Surprisingly, you started a rumor. Now my legs are even more sore. Not only can't I stand up now, I can't stand up afterward either. Fan Chen crossed her arms and spoke with a puff of anger, her chest capitalizing, causing Chen Fei to stare in disbelief. Huang Miao, you have a conscience. Have you forgotten my little note from yesterday? Hearing this, Huang Miao spread his hands with an innocent face. I said thank you, that oath really didn't say it. I couldn't make it up. Looking at Huang Miao's innocent look, Chen Fei was furious, but in front of the crowd, she still had to maintain her usual image of a great lady. But for Huang Miao, who already knew her roots, there was no need to put on an act. Miss Netflix, so it looks like you're not willing to stand up? Fan Chen looked at Chen Fei more seriously. I'm going to correct a few things. First of all, I'm not called Miss Netflix. I have my own name. It's called Fan Chen. Secondly, it's not that I don't want to stand up and intentionally make things difficult for you. Rather, my legs are numb and inconvenient. Above, just as Fan Chen's words fell, there was a sudden blackness in front of her eyes, and Chen Fei, such a big person, just suddenly disappeared. Compared to Fan Chen's dumbfoundedness, Huang Miao's expression could only be described as shocked. It was hard to imagine that Chen Fei, who had been focusing on her own behavioral merging or not, had directly stepped over Fan Chen and jumped to Huang Miao's side. No, you have such long legs? Huang Miao foolishly asked the question, not realizing that Chen Fei accidentally stumbled and fell into Huang Miao's arms. Oops, I didn't stand still. Huang Miao, catch me. Just as Chen Fei was in the process of falling, she hurriedly grabbed Huang Miao to the side, secretly rejoicing in her heart. You still can't escape. Sit honestly by my side. However, just as Chen Fei felt that she was winning, that clueless state of Fan Chen reacted. Watch out! Fan Chen shouted, then pulled Chen Fei steadily, just enough not to touch Huang Miao. Pretty sister, be careful, don't you just want to find a seat? I can help you. Fan Chen smiled, his legs and feet that had been tingling all of a sudden sensitized without the slightest delay in action. Not only that, taking advantage of Chen Fei's unsteady foothold, Fan Chen directly engaged in a shift, changing Chen Fei to the doorway seat she longed for. He himself changed to Huang Miao's side. I'm sorry, that young lady had to sit over here. I can only sit next to you, Fan Chen said with a face full of apologies, but not the slightest regret could be heard in his tone. Looking at the demon near her eyes, Huang Miao shook her head helplessly. Whatever, just do it if you want to sit. After saying this, Huang Miao viciously glanced at Li Hao, who was hiding at the back. I blame this pussy for running away from the battle. Isn't it just a pretty girl? It's not like he doesn't eat people. If I had Li Hao to cover for me, I wouldn't have been surrounded by two girls. How annoying. Huang Miao scratched his head, spread both hands, buried his head in his chest, and prepared to start sleeping. No matter who Huang Miao was surrounded by, there was always only one main theme in the Morning 8 program, that was sleep. Anyway, when he woke up, he'd go eat, and playing games later was the right way to go. Huang Miao went straight to sleep, but the storm about him was far from over. Fan Chen's body exuded a faint aroma, and that smell had a sense of calmness and concentration. This kind of smell would have a great refreshing effect when playing games, or in everyday life. But the problem was, Huang Miao wanted to sleep now.
Huang Miao helplessly arched the table, wanting to change his position, but Fan Sick-hen was too close to him, and he couldn't adjust it well, so he could only pose in a different way, and then sighed helplessly. What is all this? It's so hard for the love notebook not to come out and make things happen, and these girls are starting to rush forward one by one. I really just want to play the game. Hey. With his head buried in his arm, Huang Miao naturally wasn't aware that during the time he was dormant, the girls' battle had already begun. Chen Fei rubbed her thighs that she had just accidentally bumped into, beeped her mouth, and said in a small yin-yang voice, I didn't expect it. A famous wearer blogger would be full of nonsense. It's really an operation beyond imagination. Hearing Chen Fei's words, Fan Si-chun was unimpressed and blinked innocently, but they said that the best way to face a lie is to lie just as much. I can only say that I'm a bit unfortunate that I even ran into women who only lie at the University of Suchang. Hearing this, Chen Fei was extremely dissatisfied and straightened her chest, but comparing her disadvantages to the opposite party's strengths was tantamount to making a fool out of herself. Just as Chen Fei was thinking hard, another stirring girl killed the battlefield. Hello, may I ask if there's anyone here? A fluffy voice reached Huang Miao's ears with a hint of familiarity. Of course, at this hour, no one comes in anymore. Feel free. Huang Miao rubbed his face to clear his head a little and stepped aside. It was at the moment he looked up that Huang Miao realized that this girl, he also knew. Lin Shan-yi, do you have an elective for this class as well? Yes. Lin Shan-yi stammered for half a day and finally nodded hesitantly. The appearance of this soft girl instantly attracted the attention of Fan Si-chan and Chen Fei. Women's intuition told them that this sister was also lying. How so? Miss Lies, do you know her? Of course, the big star with a mouth full of lies. This girl also had contact with Huang Miao yesterday. Huang Miao saved her life.